This page is the vibrant front cover of the August 1991 issue of Beep! Powerful Mega Magazine Mega Drive, priced at 480 yen. Main highlight is a special feature on the newly released Mega CD, posing the exciting question of how games will evolve with the Crendrom format. Included is a special appendix, the Book of Raiden Trad, offering a complete strategy guide for the notoriously difficult shooting game, Raiden Trad. The cover also proudly announces a partnership with the American Mega Play magazine. The bottom of the page lists prominent games, giving us a glimpse into the current hot titles: Outrun, Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, known as Bare Knuckle in Japan, Vapor Trail, a baseball game likely titled Kyukai Dochuki, Deer Land, Street Smart, Master of Monsters, and Thunder Fox. The artwork is typical of the era, featuring a colorful, abstract landscape populated by quirky, cartoony characters and vehicles, including the mascot for the hot-blooded Mega Drive Group Declaration section. This cover effectively captures the excitement surrounding the Mega Drive and the anticipation for the Mega CD era. This page is a striking advertisement for the debut of Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Mega Drive. It boldly declares, "New hero!" and prominently features the speedy blue blur. The text describes Sonic using exciting adjectives like fast, amazing, cool, and cute, building anticipation for the game's release. It mentions encountering the Nemesis, Drive, Eggman, in the Miracle Zone. The ad promises that readers will soon be able to experience the game for themselves. Curiously, it also highlights the simultaneous launch of a new UFO catcher arcade machine, stocked with Sonic plush prizes, tying the game's release to merchandise availability. The Mega Drive console and controller are also showcased. This page is a vibrant advertisement highlighting the revolutionary speed and action of Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Mega Drive. It boldly proclaims the game offers the fastest action in game history and features the iconic blue hero prominently. The text emphasizes the game's high-speed gameplay, describing unexpected moves and numerous actions against enemies, building anticipation for the player experience. Screenshots at the bottom provide a glimpse into the different zones players will race through. It also credits Masato Nakamura of Dreams Come True for the game's sound production. The page confirms Sonic the Hedgehog was released for the Mega Drive on July 26, 1991, solidifying its position as a major new title for the platform. This page is an advertisement for the Sega Terra Drive, a unique system combining the Sega Mega Drive with an IBM PC. It features popular idol Yumiko Takahashi and promotes the idea of making your own games. The headline declares that games are more fun when you make them yourself, emphasizing the creative potential of the platform. The text highlights the Terra Drive's key feature, its dual CPU architecture, utilizing both the Mega Drive's processor and the PCs, as the reason this level of game construction is possible. It announces the system, and specifically game construction tools, are finally arriving, scheduled for an August release. The bottom of the page lists various stores across Japan where the Terra Drive would be available. This represents Sega's foray into empowering users beyond just playing games, offering a robust platform for creativity, leveraging its unique hardware setup. This page details the Terra Drive's game construction software, showcasing editors for rules, graphics, and sound, powered by its dual CPU design. Models and prices are listed. This page showcases El Viento, a dynamic action platformer developed by Wolf Team for the Sega Mega Drive, and the second title in the Ernest Evans series. The page features various screenshots depicting the game's fast-paced gameplay and large-scale visual effects. Dramatic comic panels highlight the game's narrative, showing protagonist Annette and antagonist characters. The dialogue in the panels hints at a dark plot involving a figure named Master Haster, a holy fire, and the impending destruction of the world, with one character ominously stating, "It's too late, Annette." This provides a glimpse into the game's blend of intense action and supernatural storyline from the creators at Wolf Team. This page continues showcasing El Viento, a thrilling non-stop action game from Wolf Team, the creators of Granada. It features a large illustration of the game's protagonist, Annette, a 16-year-old girl. The text highlights the intense gameplay with over 150 patterns of realistic action scenes and beautiful, unique visuals that promise to captivate players. Prepare for screen-filling explosions, as the game boasts dynamic, large sprite animations depicting sky-shattering and ground-bursting detonations. Set in America in 1928, The story centers on Annette's fight against an evil cult, seeking to resurrect the god Hastur, and the infamous Al Capone's gang. Possessing great power inherited from Hastur's initial sealing, Annette uses magic and martial arts to battle waves of enemies. The climax looms in the Empire State Building in New York, where a ritual to summon Hastur is underway, making for an entertainment-filled narrative alongside the action. This page showcases Street Smart, a fighting game for the Mega Drive, known in Japan as All-America Martial Arts Wrestle. The cover features striking artwork of a determined fighter, ready for action on a city street background. The text highlights that warriors from around the world are gathering in America to compete for a $1 million prize. It specifically mentions two fighters, the karate expert Tsutomu Amano and the pro wrestler John Schneider, detailing their signature moves, Amano's explosive fist and Schneider's spinning cyclone kick. The page promises a fierce battle for the title of champion and the massive cash prize. This page continues the focus on the fighting game Street Smart, known in Japan as All-America Martial Arts Wrestle. The artwork depicts a dramatic confrontation between two powerful fighters, illustrating the game's core premise. Accompanying screenshots provide a glimpse into the various locations where the tournament takes place, including street battles, a wrestling ring, and a beach. The page highlights the game's release date of July 19th and its price point of 6,800 yen. Published by Treco for the Mega Drive, this title brings the excitement of a global fighting tournament to players. The next page is bathed in the warm glow of a setting sun, proclaiming, "Ah, scorching hot Namcot." It highlights the two sons of summer from Namcot for the Mega Drive. On the left is Quad Challenge, known as Megatrax in Japan. This intense off-road ATV racer lets you battle it out, even with simultaneous two-player action. Get ready for jumps, drifts, and conquering washboard terrains to hear that victory cheer. The page includes screenshots showing the top-down view with map and the split-screen multiplayer. On the right is R.B.II, Baseball 4, originally titled Yakyu Ken Chuki. This baseball title boasts a huge roster and takes the action beyond standard fields to unique locations like ice and desert stadiums. Described as a dynamic and realistic baseball experience, it's presented as a must-play for the summer. Both games were released for 6,000 yen during the summer months, showcasing Namcot's diverse offerings for the console. This page advertises Bantan Computer Academy, highlighting its courses in fields like game, CG/VR, and multimedia creation to train individuals for the upcoming Computer Society. This page announces the arrival of Magical Puzzle Popples for the Sega Game Gear. This is a highly anticipated puzzle game developed by Tenjin, featuring over 100 stages designed by the acclaimed game designer MTJ. The game is described as easy to pick up but offering significant depth, challenging players with action-packed puzzles. Key features highlighted include the first-ever resume function on a portable console, allowing players to pick up exactly where they left off, which is perfect for playing on the go. It also boasts a map editing feature with save/load capabilities, even allowing map exchange via a communication cable. The game offers rich options settings, a cute title screen, and a clear display despite being on an LCD screen. Magical Puzzle Popples is slated for release on July 12th, with a standard retail price of 4,800 yen, excluding tax. The page also briefly showcases other Tenjin titles on different platforms, including Peter Pack Rat, PC Engine, Marble Madness, PC Engine, Clax, PC Engine, and Hard Driven, Mega Drive, giving a quick description and price for each, highlighting their quality compared to arcade versions or their console capabilities. Tenjin is praised for their detailed and player-friendly options. This page presents Trazia, known as Minato no Torazia, in Japan, a romantic adventure RPG story for the Sega Mega Drive. The striking illustration depicts a vibrant, bustling market scene in a foreign port city, filled with people of diverse backgrounds and goods, setting the stage for adventure. The accompanying text serves as an evocative introduction, describing the sensory overload of the market, the myriad skin tones, the lively chatter of merchants, and the scent of exotic goods. It hints at a young man, drawn by the commotion, whose journey continues from the previous town, where he met companions who ignite his passion for exploration. The story implies a mysterious destination unknown to the protagonist, emphasizing the sense of adventure and the unknown road ahead. Published by Nihon Telenet under their Riot brand, Tracia was scheduled for release in November. This page acts as an early announcement as part of Telenet's new brand campaign. This page features a dialogue between two prominent game programmers, Hiroshi Naito of Climax, known for his work on Shining and the Darkness, and Yasuyori Yamamoto from Nihon Telenet, who worked on titles like Gayares and YS2I. As the first installment of a new series, they focus their discussion on the Sega CD. The programmers share their perspectives on the Sega CD's capabilities and challenges. Naito points out that the critical factor for Creedrum games is the data loading speed, and how much can be stored in RAM. Yamamoto discusses the new rotation and scaling features, noting that while they add potential, they also increase programming complexity. He suggests that the Sega CD primarily provides supplementary performance enhancement, rather than a fundamental shift in the base hardware's power, based on their company's experience with the PC Engine CD. They also briefly touch upon the difficulties CD development poses for graphic designers. A small section highlights the effort involved in incorporating Japanese characters, kanji, into games, referencing titles like YS2I and Shining and the Darkness. The discussion provides insight into the technical considerations and developer outlook on the new Creedrum era for the console. This page previews YS2I, Wanderers from YS, an acclaimed action RPG masterpiece coming to the Mega Drive. The page proclaims it will arrive with the best quality. A striking image shows the game's logo, YS2I Wanderers from YS, carved into stone and overgrown with ivy. The game is scheduled for release in October and is presented as part of a new brand campaign from Telenet Japan under their Riot label. This page showcases the classic horizontal shooter Zero Wing for the Sega Mega Drive. The striking artwork features the player ship against a menacing blue alien backdrop, promising intense space combat. Prominently displayed is the game's title and the tagline, "Catch it, throw it, destroy it. New space combat legend." A page announces the game is now on sale for 8,000 yen on an 8 mega room. It highlights that this is a perfect port of the popular arcade version, known for its fast-paced action. Key game features are detailed, specifically the innovative ability to capture enemies using the ZIGR weapon and use them as a shield or throw them back for offense. A truly unique mechanic that sets it apart from other shooters of the era and is highlighted as a unique work from developer Toaplan. The page confirms the game is a licensed product from Toaplan for the Mega Drive. This page presents the upcoming game Beast Warriors, showcasing a dark fantasy world filled with bizarre, powerful creatures. The central illustration features a fierce battle between two monstrous beings, setting the tone for intense combat. The game appears to delve into a future where advanced genetic engineering has created a new breed of fighters called Dragon Warriors. The narrative hints at scientific breakthroughs and perhaps the dangers associated with tampering with life itself, leading to these powerful artificial life forms designed for battle. The page profiles several of these unique combatants, detailing their attributes like size, weight, origins, and signature special moves. We see characters like the Serpentine Daikun, the Winged Ihor, and the multi-limbed Makara, each with distinct designs and fighting styles. There's even a fusion form mentioned, suggesting potential strategic depth in combining warriors. The character designs are notably impressive, credited to Yasushi Nirasawa. Scheduled for a September 1991 release, Beast Warriors is presented as a title under Telenet Japan's Riot brand, highlighting it as part of a new campaign. The tagline, "When Dyed in the Color of Madness," adds to the game's mysterious and intense atmosphere. It looks like a promising fighting game, leveraging the Mega Drive's capabilities for detailed character models and potentially innovative gameplay mechanics centered around these genetic fighters. This page is a dual presentation, showcasing content from two distinct computer magazines or sections, O and OFM. The top section covers OFX, an information magazine for users of the Sharp X68000X1 and MZ computers. This July issue, priced at 600 yen, features a special on personal tools and basic programming, delving into topics like creating functions, X-basic fundamentals, data processing, and advanced uses of TinyCalc. For X1 users, there's a feature on the game, the Master of Payment, depicted with a screenshot showing a fascinating 3D tunnel environment and character designs. The issue also includes an X-Basic simple reference book as a bonus. Below, we find content from FM, aimed at users of the Fujitsu FM Towns and other FM series PCs. This July issue, costing 560 yen, highlights a special feature titled Intellectual Games Are from Towns, which provides a comprehensive look at various educational, hobby, and general software available for the platform. It also previews Metal X2, described as a super powerful shooting game for the AV series, illustrated with a screenshot of intense vertical shooting action, complete with score displays. Other articles include a test of Town's HD connection and a report from Computer Shows. These magazines offer a great snapshot of the software and hardware scene across different Japanese PC platforms. This page is a full-page advertisement announcing the release of Kuga, Operation Code Vapor Trail, for the Sega Mega Drive. It highlights the game as a shooting game appealing to fans. The release date is set for August 2nd, with a price of 8,400 yen, tax excluded. This page presents a lineup of past Mega Drive magazine issues from February to May 1991. It serves as an archive, detailing the main features and contents of each month. The magazine covered a wide range of topics, including deep dives into the Sega Genesis console, user surveys, special projects like a Mega Drive Game Awards ceremony, and previews/reviews of upcoming and recent releases under the Hot Menu section. Prominently featured games across these issues include Shining in the Darkness, Warsong, Zero Wing, Valis 2i, Dick Tracy, and Joe Montana Football. Each issue also came with a supplement called Mega Drive Jr., which focused on specific game types or content. This page features a promotion for the Game Gear title, Griffin. The artwork prominently displays an anime girl character, identified as Mint in the text, alongside the game's main battle tank, the Griffon. The large text above translates to, "I, when I get angry, am scary," suggesting the character's determination. The accompanying text describes the game's premise. The evaluation test of the Griffon tank from G Country is attacked by the military of I Country. The chief designer is kidnapped, prompting Mint, the test driver and granddaughter of the designer, to pilot the Griffon tank to protect the nation. A caution notes that this is a shooting game specifically for the Game Gear. The game was released on July 26, 1991, developed and published by Telenet Japan. This page presents a selection of books published by SoftBank, catering to enthusiasts of RPGs and gaming culture. It highlights various titles offering deeper dives into fantasy worlds, game design, and even the history of pinball in Japan. The first two books are RPG Fantasy Encyclopedias. The initial volume covers the origins of RPGs, drawing from myths and medieval stories, and explores the lore behind monsters, weapons, and armor. The second volume focuses specifically on Japanese fantasy, looking at elements derived from historical texts like the Kojiki to inform character, weapon, and armor details within an RPG context. Next, there's a book offering RPG setting material for a Magic Kingdom called Simharji. This title is aimed at players and designers who enjoy RPGs, but might need inspiration for scenarios or world creation. It details settings, characters, jobs, weapons, and items. The page also features Koichi Sugiyama's Great Game Exposition, packed with engaging stories. This book by the renowned composer includes essays and discussions covering a range of topics, from retro games to the Famicom and even gambling, offering entertaining insights alongside his lively companions. Finally, Pinball Graffiti is presented as Japan's first pinball book. It comprehensively covers around 180 pinball machines from 1965 to 1988. And includes essays and a history of pinball, making it a must-read for arcade aficionados. This page is a lively promotion for Valis SD, a spin-off title from the popular Valis series. Presented with excited exclamations like, Valis? What? Really cute! Quote, the page highlights a comical and super deformed take on the familiar fantasy world. The central framed image showcases protagonist Yuko and other characters and enemies in a chibi art style, emphasizing the game's cute aesthetic. The text explains that players can enjoy the Valis universe with a humorous touch, selecting from 3 different characters centered around the adorable Yuko-chan. It promises action gameplay against strange and interesting enemies. The visuals and text convey that this is a lighthearted, fun entry in the Valis franchise, promising an undeniably interesting experience. The presence of the Lasersoft logo and a CD logo indicates it's a game released on a CRIDROM format, typical for that era. This page is all about Fastest 1, an F1 racing simulation developed by Human for the Mega Drive. It focuses on faithfully recreating the intense battles of all 16 races from the 1991 F1 Grand Prix season. The game boasts a high level of realism, allowing players to maniacally configure various aspects of their car, including engine, gear, tires, steering, wing, and even coloring. It also includes detailed elements, like qualifying sessions and pit stops, capturing the tension of real Formula 1 racing. Beyond the main championship mode encompassing the full 16 races, the game offers modes like Test Run and a 2-player battle mode. The developers describe it as a super maniacal, fun one game, suggesting it's aimed at dedicated fans looking for a deep simulation experience. Small screenshots show the overhead gameplay view on different circuits, and the page features the game's box art. It's currently available for 7,500 yen, promising a challenging Formula 1 World Championship experience. This page features the fantasy war simulation game, Master of Monsters, for the Mega Drive. It pits players in a struggle for the Demon King's throne in a magical world, where they select one of 5 powerful magic users to command monsters and battle rivals. The 5 selectable masters are the Warlock, Necromancer, Summoner, Wizard, and Sorcerer. The game promises deep strategic gameplay, enhanced for the Mega Drive with an original AI system and faster processing. Key highlights include dynamic battle animations, clearly visible character growth, and a significant selling point: music supervision by the legendary Koichi Sugiyama, known for the Dragon Quest series. Originally a PC game, the Mega Drive version was reprogrammed by Toshiba Emi and released on July 26, 1991. Utilizing a 4 megabit ROM and equipped with backup memory for saving progress. The page is dominated by impressive fantasy artwork depicting a grand battle and the game's logo, along with small screenshots showing the strategic hex grid map, character status, and battle views. It was priced at 7,800 yen. This page showcases the iconic 3D rail shooter, Space Harrier 2, for the Mega Drive. Prominently displayed is the date, the 13th of September, 1991, suggesting the timing of this feature or announcement. The powerful tagline, "The edge of the galaxy becomes a battlefield," sets the tone for the high-energy space combat. The page features 3 screenshots, giving a glimpse into the diverse environments players will battle through: the lush plant planet Markland, the arid sand planet Sarah, and the atmospheric cloud planet or Sia. These vibrant locations are instantly recognizable to fans of the series. The screenshots highlight the game's perspective, showing the player character flying towards the background, targeting enemies, and managing their shield and energy bonus. It's a classic example of fast-paced arcade action brought home. This page features the classic 3D rail shooter, Galaxy Force 2, coming to the Mega Drive. The release date is highlighted as September 13th, priced at 8,400 yen plus tax. The game is confirmed to use an 8 mega ROM and supports an analog joystick. Screenshots provide a glimpse into the action, showing the player's ship navigating both the artificial planet Megalion and the intense volcano planet Ashtar. The narrative section describes the peaceful Juno star system being threatened by the militaristic Fourth Empire, leading to the formation of the Galactic Federation and the deployment of the elite Galaxy Force unit to counter the invasion. The page credits cry for reprogramming the game, bringing the arcade experience to home consoles. This page is the table of contents for the August 1991 issue, packed with previews, features, and guides for the Sega Mega Drive. It kicks off with a new title scramble, catching up on upcoming releases like the classic RPG Wonder Boy in Monster World, the unique action-adventure Rent-A-Hero, the arcade-perfect port of Galaxy Force 2, the pinball madness of Devil's Crush, and more. The B Mega Hot menu spotlights current hits and soon-to-be hits, covering iconic titles such as Outrun, Streets of Rage, and the revolutionary Sonic the Hedgehog, alongside other notable games like Kuga and Thunder Force. A major highlight is the substantial feature dedicated to the exciting arrival of the Mega CD add-on, exploring how it will transform the Mega Drive gaming landscape. Players struggling with the intense difficulty of Raiden Trad will appreciate the special supplement providing a complete strategy guide. There's also a bonus appendix focused entirely on Sonic the Hedgehog, offering maps and details for the early zones. Beyond game content, the page lists articles, including an interview with popular programmers from Climax and Riot, technical lectures, game designer insights, and various reader-contributed sections. The page is visually anchored by an image of the Mega Drive console stacked with the impressive Mega CD unit, plus screenshots from beat-em-up favorite Streets of Rage and a high-octane vertical shooter. The shop data rankings for May highlight top-selling games on Mega Drive and Game Gear. Mega Drive saw a relatively stable top 10 due to fewer new releases. Langrisser claimed the top spot, followed by Shining in the Darkness and the new entry Bonanza Bros. Other top performers included Sengokushi Retsuden, Super Monaco GP, Wrestleball, Zero Wing, Bahamut Senki, Kageki, and Castle of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse. On Game Gear, the GG Shinobi leads the chart, with Castle of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse in second. Mappy debuts at third, praised for its gameplay. Gear Stadium and Super Monaco GP round out the top 5. The Game Gear software market anticipates RPG releases in the future, but currently boasts many well-made titles. This page details user preferences and shop data for video games. The main feature is the User Data Top 20, a ranking of games Mega Drive users most want to see ported to the console. Notably, the long-desired SimEarth is confirmed for a Mega CD release, sparking hope for more big international titles. The list is topped by popular arcade and PC hits like Street Fighter II, Final Fight, and SimCity. Also featured is Shop Data Top 5, providing a snapshot of top-selling video games. Street Fighter II also dominates this list, showing its immense popularity. Other games in the top 5 include Super Volley 91, Ultraman, Football Frenzy, and Final Lap 2. Commentary notes Street Fighter II's widespread appeal and the decline of quiz games from the charts. Screenshots provide glimpses of SimEarth, Destiny of an Emperor, Super Volley 91, and Football Frenzy gameplay. The latest user data reveals the top 20 anticipated new Mega Drive games. Topping the list is The Brawler, Streets of Rage, praised as a Final Fight alternative with a completed design and impressive soundtrack. Sonic the Hedgehog claims second place, the text noting his widespread appeal and potential as Sega's new mascot, deeming it a must-buy. Outrun secures the third spot, its return highly anticipated with an exceptionally high-quality port. Battlefield Duchuki, a baseball game, ranks fourth, followed by the arcade port Galaxy Force 2 at 5th, lauded for its visuals and atmosphere. The remainder of the top 20 features exciting titles like YS2I, Wanderers from YS, Golden Axe 2, Mercs, and Super Fantasy Zone, promising a diverse range of experiences for Mega Drive fans. This page presents the latest software release schedules for both the Mega Drive and the Game Gear systems. The Mega Drive list details upcoming titles including highly anticipated games like Streets of Rage, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Outrun, along with planned dates, prices, and technical data. Similarly, the Game Gear section provides a look at its upcoming library. The editorial commentary notes that the schedules are expanding and becoming very exciting, especially with the increasing focus on the Mega CD. It highlights the emergence of new developers and mentions Microcabin specifically, noting their upcoming Game Gear title and their intention to release a Mega CD adventure game next year based on a popular work by Rumiko Takahashi. The editors emphasize the importance of keeping an eye on all the developers' moves as the Mega CD library grows. This message board provides updates from software developers. Sega announces Sonic the Hedgehog and Streets of Rage. Namco reports on a fighting game tournament. Toshiba Emi introduces Master of Monsters. Treco promotes Street Smart. Taito showcases games like Rastan. Tenjin promotes Populous and Clackix. Wolf Team sends a personal message. Riot's Nippon Telenet confirms Gakiryu Kuga and upcoming titles. Shield Wedge unveils their Mega CD title Nostalgia. Asmec announces Tenka Toitsu. Game Arts updates on Elysia Dragoon and teases Mega CD releases. Messiah, NCS, announces Langrisser and Soul Divide Kingdom. Vari introduces F1 Grand Prix. Systemsoft hints at Dai Senryaku G. The page offers direct developer communication, highlighting upcoming games across various genres and the Mega CD platform. This page presents the BeepMD Race Review section, where games are evaluated by a panel of reviewers. The overall rating system uses an average score from 4 reviewers, visualized as a dog race. First up is a review for Kyukai Duchuki, a baseball game released on July 12th. The reviewer notes it feels like a different type of baseball game compared to others, highlighting a wide outfield and easy steals. While feeling simple, it's considered not bad overall, and receives a score of 7.25. Next is a review for Street Smart, released on July 19th. This fighting game allows players to choose characters like John Schneider to compete in a tournament. Reviewers find it a simple fighting game, possibly lacking technique variety and personality, giving it a score of 6.0. Another review mentions the one-on-one combat feels less impactful due to smaller characters compared to the arcade version, and notes the absence of simultaneous multiplayer. However, it's deemed accessible for beginners and a solid title for fighting game fans, with a score of 8. The page also includes personal notes from reviewers like Jam Oji-san returning to the column. The BeepMD race review section continues with 4 game assessments. Sonic the Hedgehog receives high praise, 9.25, lauded for its content, fun gameplay, speed, and unique graphics. Thunder Fox, a port of an arcade action game, scores a middling 5.25, criticized for lacking impact and a less-than-ideal port experience. Master of Monsters, a simulation with RPG elements, earns a 7.25, appreciated for its accessibility and detailed graphics despite some issues with unit stats and controls. Kuga, a vertical shooter, gets a 7.0, recognized for its difficulty, enjoyable gameplay, and special units, though some reviewers note differences from the arcade version and missing features. The 2-player mode is a welcome addition. This page continues the BeepMD race format, reviewing 4 more titles for the Genesis. First up is Chao Turyu Retsuden Dinoland, a dinosaur-themed pinball game. Reviewers found it a bit sluggish with predictable ball movement and lacking originality in its table design, though the dinosaur concept was appreciated. It landed an average score of 5.5. Next is the legendary beat-em-up, Streets of Rage, known as Bare Knuckle in Japan. This one is highly praised as an excellent arcade port with solid action. The ability to team up for cooperative moves in 2-player mode was a definite highlight, and the music by Yuzo Koshiro was called classic. It scored a strong 7.75 average. Following that is Magical Puzzle Popples, a puzzle game. It's described as challenging but rewarding, with surprisingly complex difficulty despite its cute appearance. Understanding the rules is crucial, and the reviewer noted the satisfaction of clearing tough stages. It received a 6.0 average. Finally, we have Rastan Saga, a port of the classic arcade action game Rastan. While the graphics took a hit compared to the arcade, the core gameplay and level design are considered faithful. Some control quirks were mentioned, potentially making it tricky for new players, but it's seen as an addictive port of a nostalgic favorite, also scoring a 6.0 average. This month's BeepMD race reviews feature 2 titles. Griffin, a shoot-'em-up, is criticized for slow pacing and questionable demo scenes despite decent pixel art and playable gameplay, scoring a 5.5. Wagonland, an action game starring Wagon, receives praise for its accessibility and fun boss battles, which incorporate minigames. It boasts a solid 7.25 score. The editorial declares this month the best ever, recommending Sonic the Hedgehog, Streets of Rage, and Magical Puzzle Popples, alongside Wagonland, Master of Monsters, and World Cup Chronicles. The high quality of releases promises a great summer of gaming. This page features the BeepMD Reader Race, a poll where readers rank their favorite Mega Drive games. The top spot this month goes to Warsong, highly praised by readers for its excellent balance and tempo, considered even better than Fire Emblem by some. The page also highlights other games based on reader feedback. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 2, at rank 17, is viewed favorably compared to other versions, despite some balance and pacing issues. Musha Aleste, ranked 15th, is noted for its impressive music and solid shooting mechanics. Granada, at rank 23, is likened for its music and controls, although its life system is criticized. Further down, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker is humorously described as a comedy game, while the adventure title Sio Blade, ranked 79th, is found too short and difficult to understand due to technical language. This section offers a snapshot of reader opinions on various titles. This page continues the BeepMD Reader Race results, showcasing games ranked from 46 down to 108. The extensive ranking table provides a snapshot of reader preferences across a wide range of titles. Featured spotlights highlight reader and editor opinions on specific games. Elemental Master, ranked 29th overall, is praised for being accessible with a high reader score, although the editor notes minor critiques about visuals and magic use. Air Diver, coming in at 50th, is seen as an overlooked title released alongside Afterburner 2, with dogfights being a fun highlight despite a restrictive cockpit view. New introductions to the list include Kuryu Monogatari at 40th, described as challenging but rewarding when mastering combos, and Bonanza Bros. At 46th, noted for its low difficulty but charming characters and demos. On the lower end, Rastan Saga 2, ranked 108th, receives criticism for feeling like an early, unrefined Mega Drive title with poor controls, suggesting the first game should have been ported instead. The page also includes a section recruiting readers for the next poll, asking for their favorite games and scores, offering prizes like the classic puzzle game Tetris. Finally, there's a contest based on predicting the future average score for the upcoming release, Sonic the Hedgehog, complete with a screenshot of the speedy blue blur. This page covers the highlights of the Tokyo Toy Show '91, where the big buzz was all about Crydrom technology, with both the Sega Mega CD and NEC's Super Crydrom Square drawing major attention. The Sega booth was incredibly popular, packed with people eager to see the new Mega CD hardware in action. While the crowd made it difficult to get a good look, the anticipation was palpable. The focus was heavily on the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog, showcased alongside other new titles across Sega's platforms. Even the Sonic mascot was there, drawing enthusiastic crowds despite looking quite warm inside the costume. Over at the CSG Consumer Software Group booth, a collection of third-party software for the Mega Drive was on display. Notable games included Sunsoft's classic shooter Super Fantasy Zone, TOS's Slapfight MD, Barry's F1 Hero MD, and Namco's Mega Drive Golf. The publishers advised that the game screens shown were prepared specifically for the show and might differ in the final release. There were also rumors circulating about a Mega CD title called Nostalgia from Shootwave, although no artwork for it was presented at the show. Overall, the show highlighted the growing excitement for Cladrom gaming, with massive crowds flocking to see the future of console entertainment. The report covers industry events, starting with the Tokyo Toy Show. Taito displayed Mega Drive and Game Gear titles, including Master of Weapon, Thunder Force, Heavyweight Champ, and Rastan Saga. Capcom's booth featured their popular Capcom Race Queens, attracting crowds. Technosoft announced a rebuilt Mega Drive port of Devil's Crush, slated for October, and is now focusing on original Mega Drive games. The report then shifts to the American market and SICES. Sega showcased Genesis games like Super Fantasy Zone and Rolling Thunder 2, highlighted by a Sonic vs. Mario display. Nintendo debuted the Super NES at CES, revealing a different design but with the same compatibility as the Japanese Super Famicom. Games like F-Zero, ActRaiser, and Super Ghouls End Ghosts were presented, signaling the escalating 16-bit console war in the US. This page covers various events and media related to Sega platforms and the wider gaming scene. It highlights the Sega Terra Drive, a unique system combining Mega Drive and IBM PC capabilities with its dual CPUs, and promotes a summer campaign event in Tokyo, August 11-17, where you can experience it firsthand and play games. There are screenshots showing the hardware and a Windows desktop. The page also details other events like the World Grand Prix Fair, August 311 in Okayama, showcasing new Mega Drive titles such as Outrun and Super Monaco GP, and Gamesaurus 91, August 67 in Nagoya, featuring new software from about 40 manufacturers. In terms of media, 2 TV shows are discussed. Be Mega World, Okayama, started July, which features MD and Game Gear games like Sonic the Hedgehog and Faststone, and The Game Power, Tokyo, Tuesdays, offering general game information. Rounding out the page are brief mentions of Dragon Quest merchandise available in Harajuku, the release of the Soul Bianca 2 anime video, and new books in the RPG Replay series, including Witch Quest, Little Witch Edis. This page features the new release Scramble section, highlighting recent software releases. The main focus is on Pro Yaku Super League 91, a baseball game returning as a version-up that aims for increased realism by using real team and player names, licensed for the game. The review praises the game's authentic atmosphere, enhanced by detailed elements like crowd cheers and umpire voices, making it feel like watching professional baseball on TV. It notes that the game modes, including Pennant Mode, two-player mode and an all-star game, offer plenty of gameplay depth for baseball fans. The game also features realistic player data and a choice of 3 different stadiums to play in. Screenshots show the team selection screen featuring teams like Giants, Carp, and Lions, the stadium selection, in-game action including batting and pitching, and a dynamic score display during changes. The article specifically highlights the satisfying feeling of hitting a home run and the realistic scrolling text advertisements in the background. Other games listed in the header for this scramble section include El Viento, Devil Crash MD, RPG Densetsu Hippoi, Megatrax, Task Force Harrier X, Monster World 2i, and Galaxy Force 2, though the page primarily delves into Super League 91. This article previews several upcoming Mega Drive games. Legend Hippoi, an RPG based on an anime, shows character art and a field screen. Wonder Boy in Monster World, an action RPG hybrid, is showcased with screenshots of its interface, boss battles, and town scenes. Both games are progressing steadily. Red to Hero, an RPG releasing in September, is undergoing fine-tuning and promises a unique American action drama style with cult popular elements. Shinobi Buriden, a simulation game, is slated for a late November release and features kabuki-influenced music and historical character portraits, highlighting its simulation gameplay. This page features Quad Challenge, known as Megatrax in Japan. This is the Mega Drive port of the arcade game Quadtrax. The article highlights the game's focus on exhilarating racing with jumps and drifts, promising a faithful recreation of the arcade experience. It emphasizes the chaotic 4-player battles and the ride-ran machine E-Zone feeling. The game offers 2 main modes, 1-player versus com and 2-player battle. The versus com mode features 16 races against unique computer opponents, allowing 1 retry if you lose. The 2-player mode features split-screen racing, where the first player to win the majority of a set number of races, 19 laps, wins. The article also mentions various settings, like BGM selection, and the ability to save progress via a password system. A table details the available ATVS all-terrain vehicles, Green Monster, Red Devil, Blue Thunder, and Yellow Typhoon, listing their horsepower per revolution per minute and characteristics, top speed focused or acceleration focused. The screenshots showcase the split-screen gameplay, various track environments including jumps and dirt, and the race horn displaying timer, player number, and lap info. The article's tone is enthusiastic, suggesting the game captures the arcade fun and is something to look forward to. This page features the action game El Viento from Wolf Team, presented as a highly acclaimed action title also featured in the magazine's comic. It highlights the game's key strengths, the natural movement of the protagonist, Annette's, and the flashy visuals. A notable technique discussed is the use of large sprites for effects like explosions, which helps create impressive on-screen action. The article praises the variety and individuality of the enemies, ranging from simple human-like foes to unique creatures like slimes, hammer-throwing moles, giant new blats, and even a character resembling Blackbeard. The bosses are also highlighted as transforming and challenging, including a multi-stage tank boss and a strange, semi-transparent cell-like boss. The visual appeal extends to the character design, particularly Annette, whose look is described as charming and is prominently featured with a large illustration. The page includes several screenshots showcasing the diverse environments, intense action, and different boss encounters, along with the game's title screen. The overall tone suggests high anticipation for El Viento's release. This page covers upcoming releases, starting with Galaxy Force 2 for Mega Drive, a port of the popular arcade 3D space shooter. It aims to bring the intense action and sense of speed to home consoles. The article discusses the challenges of replicating the arcade's unique floating feel using the standard controller, although they note the development is ongoing and the visuals are looking good, particularly the smooth movement seen in the screenshots. It also mentions features like difficulty settings and a sound test are included. The second game featured is Devil Crash MD, the Mega Drive port of the cult classic pinball game Devil's Crush from the PC Engine. Known for its dark fantasy and often grotesque table designs, the game spans across 3 vertically scrolling screens. The preview highlights the faithful recreation of the original's intricate mechanics and visuals, including famous elements like the multi-stage, large-face boss and the strange salamander creature. Screenshots showcase the game's unique, detailed graphics and demonic themes. The article assures players that the transition to Mega Drive is well handled, preserving the game's distinct personality and challenge. This page provides a scoop on several new and upcoming Mega Drive titles. The main feature focuses on Task Force Harrier X, a power-up port of the arcade shooter, noting significant arrangements have been added, including new demos and boss types, plus a formation feature not present in the arcade version. Screenshots highlight the updated visuals and action. Below this, a section previews various games from different publishers. Sunsoft is bringing Super Fantasy Zone, an action-packed port of the classic series, known for its colorful graphics and item variety. Taito presents Master of Weapon, an arcade vertical shooter described as a Xebia-style game with impressive bosses and backgrounds. Asmik has a tentative PC port, Tenka Tuitsu, tentative, a Sengoku-era simulation game. Treco introduces Fighting Masters, a fighting game featuring battles between 12 different races. Visco is releasing Aseko.50, a war simulation shooter allowing 16 direction attacks. Home Data offers Dragon's Eye plus Shanghai 2 Eyes, combining a strategy title with the popular Mahjong puzzle game. NC's unveils Sorcerer Kingdom, an RPG aiming for a classic feel while implementing new battle and growth systems. Finally, Micronet showcases Heavy Nova, a robot action game, and Caesar's Ambition 2, a historical simulation, both described as promising prototypes. A note clarifies that all screenshots are from games currently in development. The Mega Drive version of Outrun, releasing in about a month, is nearly complete, with no compromises from Sega. The game closely replicates the arcade experience. Praised for its speed and handling, key features like the map, sound, and presentation are faithfully recreated, along with iconic elements like gear shifting and water splashes. The only drawback is the lack of analog joystick support. A Super Easy mode is a welcome addition for less experienced players, offering extra time at checkpoints. The game includes all 3 arcade BGM tracks, plus an original track, Step on Beat, described as soulful and funky. The review highlights the impact of the music, particularly recommending the new track with headphones. Screenshots showcase the opening screen, gameplay, and options. Outrun, a racing game, will release on August 9, 1990, for 7,000 yen, and is an 8-megabit title. This page details the gameplay flow of Outrun on the Sega Mega Drive, starting with the initial race start featuring cheering crowds and the iconic Testarossa. It highlights the smooth rendering of the road, noting it avoids the flickering seen in other versions, and shows the famous course-branching decision points. The article showcases various scenic elements encountered during the race, such as tall palm trees and dynamic wave effects unique to the Mega Drive port. Checkpoints are explained as crucial for gaining time. A notable aspect discussed is the passenger, who reacts to the driving, even getting angry if you crash. The page also teases a special event, or ending, upon completing all 15 possible courses. Finally, it illustrates the dramatic crash sequences, showing the car tumbling and the characters getting up afterwards, humorously commenting on poor driving. The reviewer seems impressed with the visual details and fidelity of the port. This page introduces the action game El Viento on the Mega Drive, presenting the initial setup through a dynamic manga page. The story begins with mysterious men pursuing a character named Annette for a sealing stone or jewel. Annette is shown desperately running through a cityscape while her pursuers shout orders to capture her and not let her escape. The page features the title El Viento along with Ernest Evans' story, indicating its connection to the series. Credits are also listed for the staff involved in production, original plan, composition, and drawing, including production assistance by Wolf Team. The artwork sets a frantic tone for the game's opening sequence. This page continues the manga-style introduction to the action game El Viento. Following Annette's escape from the previous page, her frantic flight through the city is interrupted when she collides with bystanders playing basketball, knocking one character over. Annette is shown apologizing profusely, saying, "I'm sorry," after a sound of impact or distress. One of the men, seemingly angered by the collision, is shown glaring fiercely and shouts, "Damn it! Where are you looking?" before yelling, "Get out of the way!" Annette is then depicted running away at full speed, continuing her desperate flight, highlighting the immediate danger and chaos she faces at the beginning of the Ernest Evans story. This page continues the dramatic manga prologue for Ernest Evans, showing Annette's desperate flight through the city streets. Her escape is abruptly halted as she reaches a dead end, causing her to exclaim in panic, "A dead end? What should I do?" Trapped and cornered, she is then confronted by a group of villains. The leader, a man in sunglasses, laughs sinisterly and tells her, "You can't escape anymore, Annette." The situation looks dire as she faces her pursuers with nowhere left to run. This page continues the dramatic manga prologue for Ernest Evans. Just as Annette is cornered, a new figure leaps into the scene, descending from a building by grabbing onto a ladder. This agile character, likely Ernest Evans, surprises the villains below, who exclaim about the runt being in such a high place. As the hero lands and prepares his whip, one of the villains reacts with a frustrated, "Damn it!" and orders his subordinates to pursue him. The stage is set for a confrontation as the hero intervenes in Annette's predicament. The next page continues the dramatic manga prologue for the action platformer Ernest Evans. The character from the previous page, likely Annette attempting to escape, is shown running and panting, realizing she needs to get away. Suddenly, with an exclamation, she spots an open emergency exit door. Another panel shows a hand turning a door handle, accompanying a speech bubble that reads, "Master, I thank you," suggesting that the door was opened for her by someone, perhaps Ernest Evans or another ally, allowing her a path to escape. This page builds the tension of the escape attempt, providing a moment of hope for the fleeing character. The next page continues the manga prologue for the action platformer Ernest Evans. The character who helped Annette open the door is revealed to be an antagonist with glasses, who laughs triumphantly and confronts Annette, demanding she hand over the sealed stone this time. Annette refuses, telling him not to come near her. In the bottom panel, Annette is shown falling from the building, potentially having jumped or been pushed, while the antagonist taunts her, asking if she'll jump, and commenting that her cute face will get messed up. The scene sets up a desperate situation for Annette as she plunges towards the street below. The next page continues the dramatic manga intro for Ernest Evans. The glasses-wearing antagonist, Lorenzo, confronts Annette on the rooftop, brandishing a knife and demanding she hand over the sealed stone. He yells, "So, what's it gonna be, Annette?" Annette responds with a puzzled, "Huh?" The tension mounts as Lorenzo presses her, asking forcefully, "Are you going to hand over the stone, or aren't you?" Faced with this ultimatum, Annette, instead of complying, is depicted mid-leap, having jumped from the building's edge. Lorenzo and his men look on in disbelief. Annette's expression in midair seems panicked, exclaiming that, "Ah!" Lorenzo reacts with shock and anger, shouting, "She actually jumped!" highlighting the desperate nature of Annette's escape from his clutches, and setting the stage for the action that is about to unfold. This page continues the Ernest Evans manga intro after Annette's desperate leap. A cloaked antagonist reacts angrily, learning that the girl was allowed to escape. A reporting member confirms the failure. The antagonist deduces that Annette must possess the sealed stone they seek. They then order the recall of a key organizational member named Jekyll, and caution against overly conspicuous actions. This page continues the Ernest Evans manga sequence. The antagonist, a powerful female leader, is shown seated on a throne, emphasizing the urgency of the situation after Annette's escape. She orders the New York branch of her cult to be contacted, and stresses the need to keep their existence hidden from the outside world. Meanwhile, Annette is depicted being pursued by dark creatures, servants of the evil cult. The antagonist commands them to retrieve the sealed stone Annette holds, stating this is crucial until they can summon the great god, Lord Hastur. This volume of El Viento Club, introduced by protagonist Annette, sets the stage for the game's world. The story is set in 1920s America, a period mirroring the Prohibition era, and follows Annette's journey from rural Peru, where she was rescued from sacrifice by explorer Ernest Evans. Evans, though featured in the prequel, does not appear in this adaptation. Annette's unique witch attire, a necessity for her magic, is also explained. Without it, she is unable to cast spells. The title, El Viento, Spanish for the wind, is discussed, highlighting its connection to the wind magic used by the antagonist, Lord Hastur. The Spanish title reflects Peru's colonial past. The next volume will delve into the Hastur cult. This page presents a mail-order catalog from the company Hop, offering a range of new retro gaming hardware and software. Systems available for purchase included the Famicom, Game Boy, PC Engine, Lynx, Sega Mega Drive, and Sega Game Gear, alongside the PC Engine CD-ROM squared unit. Browsing the game lists, Mega Drive enthusiasts could find titles like the challenging Ghouls and Ghosts, the groundbreaking real-time strategy game Herzog Zwei, arcade racing legend Outrun, and Afterburner 2. For the Game Gear handheld, notable mentions included Wonder Boy, the action-packed The GG Shinobi, and the racing simulation Super Monaco GP. Various accessories were also listed for sale. The page provided ordering instructions via phone and mail, including the company's contact details and address in Tokyo. This advertisement was specifically valid during the month of July. This page features a mail-order advertisement from Santa, a specialist Sega store. They're offering the Sega Mega Drive console for 11,600 yen and the Game Gear handheld for 13,500 yen. Along with a variety of accessories for both systems. Highlighting their software selection, Santa is taking pre-orders for exciting upcoming titles like Sonic the Hedgehog, Outrun, Populous, and Mercs, listing their Santa prices and expected release dates. They also showcase a range of newer releases like Streets of Rage and Master of Monsters. Beyond the latest games, the store has a wide back catalog, including budget-priced corners featuring classics such as Phantasy Star IV, Golden Axe, Strider, and Zero Wing. They also offer a selection of Master System and Mark II titles, including imported US/Europe versions compatible via an adapter. The page details how to order via phone or mail, including payment options and delivery fees across Japan. This page is dedicated to Sega's highly anticipated beat-em-up, Streets of Rage, known as Bare Knuckle in Japan. The article highlights the game's simple yet exhilarating action, noting the satisfaction of punching and kicking enemies. It prominently features Yuzo Koshiro's soundtrack, praising his return to Sega, and calling the music hot, especially the boss themes. The reviewer notes that Koshiro's sound quality is as high as his work on The Revenge of Shinobi. The page also details key differences between one-player and two-player modes, such as more items appearing and double the number of round bosses, suggesting a well-designed cooperative experience. It mentions the game includes multiple endings, though notes that variations might be limited in two-player. With screenshots showcasing the title screen and in-game action, the article positions Streets of Rage as a potential classic for the Mega Drive, praised for its audio, satisfying gameplay, and anticipated status among readers. A small section also indicates this page is part of Part 2, covering other games, listing Sonic the Hedgehog and Vapor Trail, Kuga, for discussion on subsequent pages. This page dives deep into the gameplay mechanics of Streets of Rage, expanding on the basic action covered previously. It highlights the simple controls shared by all characters, but emphasizes how each character executes unique and varied techniques, from basic attacks to flashy special moves. The guide details fundamental moves, like punches and kicks, as well as jump attacks with variations like flying and spinning kicks. It then covers more advanced techniques including back attacks, grab maneuvers like elbows and headbutts, and various throws, showcasing the character's ability to toss enemies around or escape throws themselves with stylish landings. A key feature highlighted is the special attack, where players can call for police car support by pressing the care button. This devastating attack clears the screen of enemies, dealing massive damage. The page notes its limitation, usable only once per round, resetting only upon picking up a special item, clearing the round, or losing a life. It also illustrates the different special attacks depending on the player side. Player 1 calls in a napalm bomb, while Player 2 requests a Gatling rocket attack. This section reinforces the game's cooperative focus, even in its most powerful attacks. This page continues the Streets of Rage coverage by introducing the enemies players will face and the items they can find to help them on their journey. The guide lists several syndicate criminals, detailing their height, weight, and fighting styles. Featured enemies include Garcia, described as a simple punk working for the syndicate, varying in personality and attack methods. White Eagle is a former martial artist whose skills have turned brutal under the syndicate's influence, noted for dangerous jump kicks. Jack, a clown by day and thug by night, uses torches as weapons, which can be punched out of the air. Y. Signal is agile, using throws and tricky sliding attacks. And finally, Nora, a dominatrix-like character who uses a whip, is described as sadistic, but perhaps less brutal than others in close combat. The page also highlights destructible objects in the environment, like phone booths and barrels, which can yield items when destroyed. Items are categorized. Health recovery includes meat and apples. Point items like money bags and gold bars add to the score. Weapon items include the beer bottle, which breaks on impact, knife, for close cuts and throws, and lead pipe/baseball bat, powerful wide-range attacks. A unique weapon is the pepper shaker, which stuns enemies. Lastly, the 1-Up item gives an extra life, featuring tiny sprites of the main characters Axel, Adam, and Blaze. The guide advises players to learn enemy patterns and item effects for strategic play. This page continues the guide for Streets of Rage, focusing on the playable characters and the first 2 stages. It introduces the 3 main characters, Adam Hunter, Axel Stone, and Blaze Fielding, discussing their fighting styles and recommending Blaze for single-player and Adam or Axel for 2-player. It also briefly mentions their unique hobbies and early development names. The guide then moves into the stages, starting with Round 1, the shopping mall. This stage is described as a dangerous neon street, filled only with syndicate thugs. The boss for this round is Antonio, an Italian man known for throwing a large boomerang and surprisingly strong close-range kicks, despite his unusual physique and hobby of boomerang competitions. Next is Round 2, Slum Street. With the police ineffective, the heroes infiltrate this area. The stage features brick walls with posters creating a desolate atmosphere. The boss here is Souther, a difficult opponent using clawed gloves and capable of evading attacks with a double image, leaving the reviewer wondering how to beat him. Rounds 3 through 6 of Streets of Rage are detailed. Round 3, set at Beachside, features waves of enemies and the boss Abade, a wrestler whose lariat is unblockable. Round 4, a bridge under construction, offers instant death pitfalls and the fire-breathing boss Bongo, best defeated by punching. Round 5 takes place on a passenger ship, infested with numerous enemies skilled in combos. Round 6, a factory, introduces environmental hazards like conveyor belts and falling presses, and sees the return of Bongo as a mid-boss, making it a challenging stage. This page provides an update on Sonic the Hedgehog, highlighting its approaching release. It focuses on demonstrating the capabilities of the Sega Genesis Mega Drive through the detailed presentation of Zone 4, the Labyrinth Zone. The review praises the zone's stunning underwater visuals, noting how realistically the background elements move, surpassing earlier action games. It describes the level as beautiful enough to simply admire without even playing. Gameplay within the Labyrinth Zone is challenging, featuring various traps like spikes, jump pads, and lifts that impede Sonic's progress. A crucial mechanic discussed is Sonic's limited ability to breathe underwater, with only 20 seconds before drowning. The text explains that large air bubbles appearing from the ground provide the necessary oxygen, making timing and navigating to these bubbles vital for survival, and adding significant thrill to the zone. Screenshots illustrate Sonic struggling underwater and successfully breathing the large bubbles. The page also touches upon the encounter with the main villain, Eggman, Drive Robotnik. In this segment, Eggman primarily flees upwards, with the main challenge coming from environmental traps like spikes and fire-spitting statues designed to hinder Sonic's pursuit. It advises caution against directly attacking Eggman here due to surrounding hazards, recommending a careful ascent. Successfully avoiding the traps allows Sonic to catch up, at which point Eggman retreats, clearing the section. Screenshots show Sonic chasing Eggman through the trap-filled area, culminating in a clear message. This page dives into Zone 5, the Starlight Zone, in Sonic the Hedgehog. Set against a spectacular night sky filled with twinkling stars and distant city lights, this zone is built among towering construction sites. The visuals are stunning, with the background stars scrolling in different patterns as Sonic speeds along. Gameplay in Starlight Zone feels like a wild theme park ride, featuring thrilling roller coaster sections and tricky seesaw mechanics. These seesaws aren't just for platforming, they play a critical role in the boss battle. Unlike the previous encounter, Drive Robotnik is now determined and attacks with spiky projectiles. Sonic must cleverly use the seesaws to launch these spikes back at him. The zone ramps up the difficulty, with tougher enemies appearing, making caution essential to navigate its challenges and face the determined Drive Robotnik. Clearing this zone brings you closer to the final showdown. This page showcases 2 exciting titles from Taito. First up is Master of Weapon, a dynamic shooting game promising transformation. It boasts unique and surprising level designs, featuring diverse environments like cities, highways, and even giant aircraft carriers, all set within visually striking scenes. The gameplay emphasizes skill and strategy, aided by 7 different power-up items to unleash superhuman strength. It was scheduled for release in September at a price of 6,800 yen, excluding tax. Below that is Rastan Saga, a super-powered action game challenging players to conquer 5 difficult stages. This version is an upgraded port from the PC Engine, bringing enhanced visuals and gameplay. Set in a fantasy world, you control Rastan, a muscular hero battling fearsome creatures like skeletons and dragons in intense platforming combat. Rastan Saga was set for release on August 9th, with a fixed price of 4,500 yen, excluding tax. Both previews include screenshots showing the in-development gameplay. This page features Taito's arcade hit, Thunder Fox, making its way to the Mega Drive, powered up and ready for action. This isn't just a port, it's a true successor to the action game genre. The game pits 2 superhuman youths, Thunder and Fox, against waves of enemy fortresses, promising intense battles where victory is yours to seize. The screenshots show a detailed horizontal scrolling action game across all 5 stages, putting your skills to the test. It was released on July 26th with a price of 8,500 yen, excluding tax. The page also notes that this is licensed software for the Mega Drive and Game Gear from Taito Corporation. This page features the arcade hit Vapor Trail, hyper-offense formation, known as Kuga in Japan, making its way to the Sega Mega Drive. Arcade enthusiasts were captivated by this intense vertical scrolling shooter, and the Mega Drive port promises a faithful rendition complete with additional special features not found in the original arcade game. The page highlights the game's key features, including the long-awaited implementation of 2-player simultaneous cooperative play, which makes tackling challenging stages much easier. Players can choose from 3 distinct aircraft types before launching: the Valkyrie with high firepower but low speed, the balanced Sylph, or the fast Sailan, which can shoot backward but has weaker firepower. Gameplay is enhanced by collectible S-items that grant a powerful special attack unique to each ship type, which can also be sacrificed like a bomb to clear the screen of enemies. A signature move is the barrel roll, described as an invincible state that provides a rush of exhilaration when executed, requiring a full power meter. With its arcade fidelity and new features, Vapor Trail is presented as a game ready to thrill both veterans and newcomers. This page delves deeper into Vapor Trail, focusing specifically on tackling the challenges of Stage 4. The guide warns players about the increased difficulty, particularly highlighting enemies that attack from the rear, like the Sailan-type aircraft from the previous stages. It suggests players consider obtaining speed-up items to help navigate this stage effectively. The page also points out a unique type of cruiser that acts as a mid-boss, appearing in formations and posing a significant threat. A dedicated section advises players on opportune moments to utilize the barrel roll, Vapor Trail's invincible special move, recommending its use against groups of these challenging cruisers, and a specific difficult enemy wave to quickly clear threats. Finally, the page introduces the boss of Stage 4, a massive transforming submarine. It describes the boss splitting into 2 parts, with the front section being particularly dangerous due to its intense bullet spread. The strategy suggested is to focus firepower on destroying the front part first, as the rear section is less threatening afterward. The guide reassures players that while the combined form looks imposing, its attacks aren't excessively difficult compared to the separate parts. This page focuses on the climactic Stage 5 of Vapor Trail, set high above a sprawling city. The guide warns that this stage marks the final onslaught from standard enemies, who attack fiercely and in overwhelming numbers with a torrent of bullets. Clearing this stage solo is tough, so a 2-player approach is highly recommended. A unique mid-boss appears here, a bomber that drops bombs relentlessly. However, a key vulnerability is noted. Hitting the bomber itself does no damage to your ship. Only its bombs are a threat. The strategy is simple: get close and unleash your firepower to destroy it quickly. A special section dedicated to the barrel roll highlights its crucial role in Stage 5. It advises players that this invincible maneuver will be necessary throughout the stage, and specifically points out 2 key moments where using it is absolutely essential to survive intense enemy waves. Finally, the boss of Stage 5 is introduced, a massive helicopter that is a significantly tougher version of the boss encountered in Stage 1. It unleashes brutal attacks, including barrages of large missiles that require extremely precise control to navigate. While familiar in form, its increased strength and attack patterns make it a formidable final challenge. This page moves to the grand finale of Vapor Trail with Stage 6, featuring the final boss encounter against the massive, supposedly invincible, Super Dreadnought combat aircraft. The key strategy here is to systematically destroy its numerous turrets, although the guide warns there's a secret function the boss possesses. Screenshots show this colossal enemy filling the screen, bristling with defenses. The page then shifts focus to the exhilarating two-player cooperative mode, highlighting that finding the best formation is crucial and adds immense depth to the game. Beyond the simple split-screen method, players can coordinate roles like dealing with smaller enemies or focusing fire on larger targets. Aircraft selection becomes a vital tactical choice. 3 recommended pairings are suggested: Salen and Valkyrie for a standard front/back dynamic, Valkyrie and Sylph for specialized anti-small and anti-large enemy roles, and Sylph and Salen, noted as being easier to power up quickly compared to the Valkyrie pairings. Screenshots illustrate the fighter selection screen for each suggested duo. This page serves as a guide to conquering the ultimate challenge and maximizing the fun of Vapor Trail's co-op mode. This page announces Victor Entertainment's bold entry into the Mega Drive and Mega CD market. Known for their history in music and video, Victor is making a passionate declaration to expand their gaming presence. At the time of this publication, they are launching their first titles, coinciding with the release of the Mega CD. Featured prominently is an interview with Hiroshi Kobayashi from Victor's new media business department, discussing their strategic move. Victor has prior experience in the game industry, having developed games for the Famicom and PC Engine, and were early adopters of Klydrom technology. Their first Mega CD title is an original RPG called Haushin Enji. Beyond the Mega CD, Victor is also releasing a Game Gear title as part of their initial push. This game is Squeak, an action puzzle game ported from an Infogrames title originally from France. Screenshots of Squeak are displayed, showing colorful block-matching gameplay, where the player character manipulates tiles to change their color within a time limit. The interview touches upon Victor's approach to game development and their assessment of the market. This page continues the interview with Victor Entertainment, building on their announcement from the previous page. While their original Mega CD RPG, Haushin Enji, is now slated for next summer, Victor is delivering 2 major titles much sooner, hitting the market this autumn. The first is Psygnosis's classic action platformer, Shadow of the Beast, renowned for its stunning graphics and extensive multi-layer parallax scrolling, a feature heavily emphasized here, with a striking illustration. The second title is Broderbund's acclaimed Prince of Persia, presented as a fusion of RPG and action elements, promising more depth than the original PC release. Screenshots showcase the distinctive character movement and environments. Victor confirms their strategy involves bringing overseas hits like these to the Mega Drive and Mega CD, while also developing original content, leveraging the capabilities of the new CD format. They aim to cater to the more dedicated gamers drawn to the Mega Drive platform. The next page features a hyper-technology lecture by Agi Nihiyaku, shifting focus from games to the technology of creating animation. It explores the history of animation, highlighting how early devices like the zoetrope, where changing images viewed through slits appeared to move, astonished 19th century onlookers, much like virtual reality might today. The piece then discusses modern tools, specifically Macromind Director 2.0 on the Mac, as a powerful way to create interactive animation. It explains concepts like cast as the basic graphical units that are manipulated to bring scenes to life. The author suggests that with such tools, you can move beyond simply playing games to actively creating them, including complex adventure games or RPGs, by linking animated sequences and adding interactive elements like sound samples. The lecture encourages readers to explore the creative potential of computers for making their own animated games. This page features a game design diary column by Naoto Kadokura, a prominent Sega developer known for his work on the Phantasy Star series. Titled Game Designer's Domain, this 6th installment dives deep into the challenge of imbuing game characters with life. Kadokura discusses the difficulty of creating realistic psychological systems, particularly for modeling complex human relationships and emotions within a group, noting that most systems only handle one-on-one interactions with the protagonist. He contrasts the traditional focus on character ability with the need to represent true personality and emotion, which is vital for characters to feel alive in dynamic situations like quests or party interactions. He highlights the significant technical hurdles, such as the immense amount of varying graphics and dialogue needed to make emotional expression convincing, which in turn taxes memory resources. Despite these difficulties, which require knowledge of social psychology, Kadokura argues that tackling this problem on a computer is a meaningful challenge, aiming to create characters whose interactions feel genuinely human and deepen the player's immersion and connection to the unfolding story. The page includes a doodle-like illustration featuring abstract characters, possibly representing the internal complexity being discussed. This page marks the conclusion of the Takanawa Kenzen Club column, which wraps up with a visit to a toy show. Reflecting on their trip, they highlight items encountered, including a memorable slime balloon from Dragon Quest, surprisingly featured in a Sega magazine, and a familiar Sonic the Hedgehog plush toy. The main focus shifts to the sudden popularity of the Sonic Ondo, a themed folk dance and song that's become a hit. A report details a Sonic Ondo tournament held at the show, where participants dressed in costumes showed off their moves. The winner, Mr. Imanishi, was awarded a special Sonic fan, impressing the judges with his dynamic and seemingly airborne performance in what appears to be an Opa-Opa costume from Fantasy Zone. The page includes photos of the event, showcasing the Sonic fan, various costume dancers, and the impressive winning performance. This page kicks off with a humorous report titled, "False Shock, Aliens Appear," a tentative name. It recounts an encounter at the Bandai booth during the toy show with young people who jokingly claimed to be aliens looking for work. The article notes they were quite frank in their mostly untrue answers. A photo shows a crowd with a prominent Sonic the Hedgehog costume character, suggesting these aliens might have been involved in the booth's activities. The page also includes a mail-order section from Nico Okonoma Shopping, featuring the Limbo Dancer Jr., a vinyl kit perfect for the summer trend of limbo dancing. It's described as convenient and versatile, even doubling as a mini clothes dryer. Next, there's a brief look at two joysticks for the Sega Genesis: the QuickShot QS135 Pyshin 3 and QS136 Pyshin 4, noting their presence at the show. The bottom section features an editorial postscript, with various staff members sharing short anecdotes from their experiences, likely related to the show or recent events. These include comments on the heat, travel to Osaka, car spotting, attending a Namco game tournament, and even using a UFO catcher machine. Finally, a concluding note alongside a plush German Shepherd dog suggests the end of a particular feature or era, but hints at a future return or reboot. Footnotes confirm that the Sonic presence and the dog plush were indeed items featured at the Tokyo Toy Show. This page begins a new feature titled Sound Club, Game Music Gentleman's Record, presented as the first installment focusing on interviews with people actually involved in game music creation. This entry features an interview with Seiji Toda, known for producing the Namco remix album 765 Megamix. The interview delves into the current landscape of game music, with Toda noting the growing popularity of house music and remixes, which has interestingly gained traction among gamers, particularly influenced by European scenes like the Amiga's house music. He expresses his liking for this style, and how it led him to work on the Namco Remix project. Toda discusses the evolution of game music, touching upon the early cheap techno trend, and the subsequent shift towards more sophisticated arrangements as sound hardware improved. He reflects on the debate about sound quality and formats like CD-ROM, and the significant impact hardware changes have had on music production. A key takeaway is his aspiration to create mentally uplifting action game music. He mentions his experience with games like Ultima, and explains his approach to background music in titles like Draken, aiming for non-repetitive, engaging sounds. He also expresses fondness for the music in Amiga action games such as Xenon. The page includes a photo of Toda with a mixing console and a brief note about a single release he was involved with, Silent Summer by Ribbon. This page continues the interview with Seiji Toida, where he gives advice to aspiring game music creators. He emphasizes that the music should complement the game's visuals and overall feel, rather than just following a formula like a standard band setup. He states that higher sound quality allows for better integration. Below the interview, there's a mention of his 765 Megamix album, which features house and techno remixes of classic Namco game tunes. The Game Music New Release Review section covers several albums. Reviewed titles include Rolling Thunder 2, praised for its use of live instruments, and Double Dragon 3, which features powerful house arrangements, though the reviewer wished for more vocal samples. Music releases for major RPGs like Final Fantasy IV and Dragon Quest, an album featuring traditional Japanese instruments, are also highlighted, showing their popularity. Other releases cover music from Taito's Zunata, the PC Game Loom, and a compilation of retro Atari music. There's even a VHS release reviewing Capcom's history through their games. The live information section details 2 upcoming events. The Game Music Festival 91, featuring popular bands like ST Band and JDK Band, and an orchestral concert produced by Koichi Sugiyama, showcasing music from hit RPGs like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy IV, plus Super Mario World, and even music from the upcoming The Legend of Zelda game. A small note at the bottom mentions re-releases of Linda Yamamoto's music, including remixes. This page features the 8th installment of the TV Game Market Frontline series, focusing on user expectations and an interview with Namco. Having received overwhelming requests from users, the magazine finally sits down with Namco's R&D manager, Shigeru Sakurai, to discuss their upcoming releases and strategy. The interview addresses user difficulties in acquiring certain popular Namco titles. Mr. Sakurai confirms that both Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water, based on the popular NHK anime, and Rexel Ball, a unique sports game blending wrestling and American football, are scheduled for re-release around August. He explains that the initial difficulty in finding them was due to limited production quantities. Screenshots show the games discussed. Rexel Ball depicts a top-down view of a sports arena with character sprites, highlighting its unique hybrid sports concept. Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water shows a character portrait, reflecting its anime origins and broad user appeal. Mr. Sakurai discusses Namco's success, attributing it to releasing hit titles at opportune times rather than simply flooding the market with high production numbers. He also states that Namco is not considering the practice of selling off excess stock at heavily discounted prices, unlike some other companies. The interview provides insight into Namco's approach to game development and market strategy from a developer's perspective. This page continues the interview with Namco's R&D manager, Shigeru Sakurai, under the title, More Namco Software Coming to Mega Drive. The interviewer expresses strong user anticipation for Namco classics like Genpei Tumaden and Legend of Valkyrie to be ported. Mr. Sakurai notes that while Legend of Valkyrie is a highly requested title, there are currently no plans for a Mega Drive port. He also touches on the unique nature of the Genpei Tumaden arcade game and the differing reception of its home console version. The discussion then shifts to upcoming Mega Drive titles. Marvel Land is highlighted as a big title expected this autumn, praised for its high-quality presentation and fun gameplay, featuring rotation effects. 2 new releases are featured with screenshots. Kyukai Duchuki, a baseball game described as different from Namco's World Stadium series, and Megatrax, a racing game offering 2-player simultaneous play, slated for an August release. Finally, the interviewer reflects on Namco's development philosophy and their ability to captivate fans, noting their sincerity and focus on creating enjoyable games. The interviewer expresses hope that Namco will continue releasing great titles on the Mega Drive. This page features the BeepMD letters section, including this month's argument. The main discussion revolves around Sega's strategy and perceptions. One letter emphasizes the importance of software strategy, suggesting Sega should collaborate closely with record companies, noting that Toshiba EMI, Victor Entertainment, King Records, and Nippon Columbia are already involved. They point to the success of ports like Metal Force on the Famicom as an example of leveraging external relationships. There's a comparison of Sega's advertising campaigns to Nintendo's, with the opinion that Nintendo's commercials are clearer and more impactful, while Sega's often air late at night and lack strong confidence. Game difficulty is also discussed, mentioning that a Mickey Mouse game being difficult with only 3 continues feels detrimental to its image, contrasting it with the difficulty and continue system in Ghouls and Ghosts, which was better received in this regard. Another point focuses on the Sega modem. While there was anticipation for it, there's frustration over the lack of compatible software releases, specifically mentioning the modem version of Super Monaco GP, which hasn't appeared despite expectations. Upcoming action titles like Sonic the Hedgehog and Streets of Rage are mentioned as highlights. The theme for the next issue is announced as Sega's New Wave Action, with a focus on Sonic the Hedgehog. The closing commentary reflects that while Sega was criticized for poor advertising and excessive hardware releases, the current success of their software is proving to be effective promotion in itself. This page features the BeepMD Say Anything About Games section, where readers share their opinions and feedback on various titles. It includes letters and fan art covering a range of games. Readers discuss titles like Warsong, praising its sense of accomplishment upon clearing scenarios and engaging story elements, while also noting some minor criticisms. There's also commentary on Romance of the Three Kingdoms record, Heroes of Troubled Times, with one reader finding it repetitive and lacking originality compared to other versions, contrasted with another reader's positive view. Upcoming games like Sonic the Hedgehog and Bonanza Brothers are mentioned with anticipation, accompanied by dynamic fan illustrations. Other artwork celebrates games like the Phantasy Star series, Advanced Military Commander, and El Viento, showcasing the diverse interests of the readers. There's also a query regarding the possibility of a Street Fighter release. The page highlights the community's active engagement with the MegaDrive library and their excitement for future releases. This page continues the Things I Want to Say to the Industry section, featuring reader feedback and comments on various MegaDrive titles, illustrated with an interesting diagram of a butchered pig representing the industry. Readers share their thoughts, including disappointment about the upcoming YS2i port, preferring the earlier entries in the series, but hoping the MegaDrive version is improved and contains original elements. There's also a request for a port of Dragon Slayer, The Legend of Heroes. Another recurring topic is the size of game cartridges, with readers questioning why many Sega games are still 4 meters, when 8 meters could allow for better quality ports, referencing games like Bonanza Bros, possibly being limited by this. Anticipation is high for games like Thunder Force IV. Excitement is shown for Golden Axe 2, specifically hoping for a robust dual mode with a large roster of playable characters. There's also a strong plea for more adventure games on the Mega Drive, with readers expressing interest in titles like Maniac Mansion, the Jake Hunter Detective Story series, and Shadowgate, hoping developers will bring more games in this genre, perhaps even on Kleedrom. This page continues the reader feedback section, BeepMD. Readers write in with diverse comments on Sega Mega Drive games. One letter discusses sound effects, noting a similarity in the sound design of Darius 2. Another submission includes a photograph found in the ending of the strategy game Super Daisen Ryaku, linking it to a historical image from a book about the Second World War. There's also a significant discussion about Super Monaco GP, with a reader asking for tips on mastering hairpin turns. The response provides expert strategy advice, recommending a slow-in, fast-out technique using fourth gear and early braking. The page also features a score chart, showcasing the best times achieved by readers in a Super Monaco GP challenge, encouraging others to try and beat the records. Other games like Shining in the Darkness are also briefly mentioned. This page continues the BeepMD reader feedback section, kicking off with a couple of fun 4-panel MD Kun manga strips, one humorously touching on TV ratings, and the other about a locally produced Mega Drive show. It also includes a small corrections section, clarifying photo errors from Magical Taruto-kun in Fantasy Zone gear, and a magic detail in Shining and the Darkness, noting that high priests can actually use the sleep spell. Following that is the announcement of prize winners from the June issue. Readers won various titles, including the strategy RPG Langrisser, the wrestling game Shiju Saikyu League S Super Tag, the arcade port Bonanza Brothers, the action-packed The GG Shinobi, the classic Mappy, the puzzle game SSS, Sukwik, Technosoft CD games, Street Fighter II posters, the Shooter Heavy Unit CD, and Valis IV. The rest of the page details the different ways readers can contribute to BeepMD. There are sections for game discussions. The upcoming October theme is Sonic the Hedgehog, sharing impressions on games, sending messages directly to game industry professionals, general chatter, a queue and a section where pros answer reader questions about games and developers, a place to vent frustrations about games or companies, and a section for submitting illustrations. Readers are encouraged to send in their thoughts and creations to the magazine's editorial department. This page introduces the highly anticipated Mega CD add-on for the Sega Genesis, announcing its imminent release planned for the fall. The feature asks a pivotal question: how will MegaDrive software change? Highlighting the potential impact of the new Kleedrom technology on games. The visuals showcase the sleek design of the Genesis console stacked atop the Mega CD unit, surrounded by reflective Kleedrom discs, emphasizing the new media format. The text explains that the magazine has conducted thorough coverage of the Mega CD, exploring what kind of games will be possible, and pondering if this edition will truly bring a revolution to the Genesis platform. This page continues the discussion on the Sega CD, focusing on its unveiling at the Tokyo Toy Show, where the official specifications were revealed, reportedly exceeding expectations. The article highlights sound quality, scaling, and rotation functions as key features that set it apart. The specs table details elements like the CPU, RAM, room, and sound capabilities. But the focus is on the performance these enable. The text emphasizes that the sound quality is comparable to music screeds, utilizing an 8-channel stereo PCM sound source with 8x oversampling and digital filtering, delivering the powerful audio experience of arcade machines. Furthermore, the Sega CD boasts built-in hardware for scaling, rotation, and crucially, complex 2-axis rotation. This hardware support simplifies programming, allowing developers to create dynamic visuals and potentially new genres of games, while also saving memory for more detailed graphics. Images on the page include the Sega CD unit itself, Sega logos, and a photograph of a Sega arcade racing game cabinet, used to illustrate the quality of the sound system. This page provides a closer look at the newly released Sega CD, detailing its design and capabilities. The article highlights the sleek, front-loading design, which connects cleanly to the right side of the Mega Drive console. Unlike some other systems, it features simple indicator lamps for play and access rather than numerous switches, giving it a refined audio component feel. Connectivity seems robust, even allowing peripherals like the Mega Modem to remain connected. A key feature is the fast access time, averaging around 1 second thanks to a new custom driver. This significantly speeds up loading, improving the flow of games, especially for animations and data-intensive sequences, and is noted as a strong point compared to systems like the PC Engine CD-ROM Squared. Beyond gaming, the Sega CD is presented as a versatile multimedia device. It includes a built-in karaoke function, but the potential for CD-ROM goes much further. The large storage capacity opens the door to electronic publishing, such as digital encyclopedias, dictionaries, magazines, and photo collections, leveraging the system's ability to display images and play audio alongside text. The ability to use standard music struts and CDG discs is also mentioned, broadening its utility beyond just games. The overall sentiment is that the Sega Card's multimedia capabilities will greatly expand the possibilities for software. This page features an interview with Hideki Sato, often called the father of the Mega CD at Sega. He explains the system's design philosophy, focusing on providing high functionality, especially in anticipation of porting PC and foreign games, which require features like large buffer RAM, scaling, and rotation. Sato emphasizes the large 6 MB buffer RAM as a key selling point, designed to minimize loading times and handle data efficiently. He also details how the Mega CD's own high-speed 68,000 CPU is dedicated to optimally managing this buffer RAM, ensuring fast access for different tasks like storing and using data. The discussion highlights the system's aim to support evolving game genres and porting trends with robust technical capabilities. This page continues the deep dive into the Mega CD with an interview with Hideki Sato. He explains how the system's design leverages its dedicated RAM for PCM sound data and additional cache/backup RAM, ensuring high-quality audio and data management. Sato clarifies that while the Mega CD doesn't increase the Genesis's base color palette, still 64 out of 512, the ability to handle vastly more animation data from the CD-ROM overcomes this limitation for impressive visuals. He discusses the shift in game development philosophy, moving from the constraints of room size to focusing on content and experience afforded by the large CD capacity. Sato mentions the system will excel at handling genres like the Daisenryaku series, with much larger maps. He confirms the expected release date is this autumn, with the price point around 50,000 yen. He emphasizes that the Mega CD is the first step in Sega's multimedia plans, aiming not just for advanced games but expanding into other areas. The article highlights some initial titles, including the simulation classic Sim Earth, the RPG Dark Wizard, the adventure Rise of the Dragon, and 3x3 Eyes. Screenshots show Sim Earth and potentially Dark Wizard or Rise of the Dragon. The image also clearly shows the Mega CD unit stacking below the Genesis. Sato's vision is clear. The Mega CD is designed to push the boundaries of game content and pave the way for multimedia experiences. This page presents the results of a survey conducted with 100 people who saw the Mega CD at the Tokyo Toy Show '91. An overwhelming majority, 89 people, already own a Mega Drive, confirming Sega's strategy of positioning the Mega CD as an add-on for existing users. When asked about the price, most attendees expected it to fall between 40,000 and 50,000 yen, which is close to the announced price of 50,000 yen discussed on the previous page. Notably, a significant 83 people stated they intend to buy the Mega CD upon release, with another 16 considering it, largely dependent on the final software lineup. User impressions were generally positive, with the enhanced sound, overall performance, graphics quality, and smooth scaling/rotation capabilities being highlighted. Expectations for Cradrom games lean heavily towards RPGs, strong visuals, and new or ported titles that leverage the expanded data capacity and improved audio. Faithful arcade ports were also a popular request. The survey confirms strong initial interest and anticipation for the MegaCrady's potential to deliver richer game experiences. This page delves into the software landscape for the nascent Mega CD, showcasing the initial lineup announced at the toy show. It highlights the potential unlocked by the hardware's capabilities, particularly its enhanced graphics like smooth scaling, rotation, and the interesting use of 2-axis rotation to enable more realistic, almost 3D-like effects, far exceeding previous console hardware. The initial announced lineup stands at 20 titles, presenting a mix of original games and ports. Notably, many ports are coming from PC or PC Engine platforms, not just arcades. Titles like the simulation classic SimEarth and the upcoming RPG Lunar are pointed out as key examples. The magazine expresses excitement for how developers will utilize the Cradrom's capacity for richer graphics, sound, and animation. The genre breakdown shows a healthy number of original titles alongside ports and games based on existing works, suggesting a diverse library is planned. There's a strong sense of anticipation for how third-party developers will leverage the MegaCrady's power to create exciting new experiences. This page highlights GameArt's strong commitment to the new Mega CD hardware, declaring their 2 launch titles are linked by fate with the system itself. The featured game is the eagerly anticipated RPG Lunar, the Silver Star, which promises to leverage the Kidi's capacity with extensive anime sequences, voice acting, and detailed visuals. The screenshots show the classic RPG field map exploration and a dynamic battle system that shifts perspective, reminiscent of action games like Golden Axe. Developers mention the goal is to maximize the AV potential, moving from text-based narratives to fully voiced and animated experiences. The second title is revealed to be Tenkafubu, a historical simulation game that utilizes live-action video, further demonstrating the diverse applications of the MegaCrady's capabilities. This page makes it clear that GameArts is all in on the Mega CD, aiming to deliver rich, multimedia-infused gaming experiences right from the start. This page continues the special feature on the Sega MegaCrady's launch titles, focusing on GameArt's historical simulation, Tenkafubu. The game boasts a massive scale, with 1,200 unique warlords depicted through detailed portraits shown on the page. Leveraging the Cradrom's capacity, it emphasizes historical accuracy derived from dedicated research and old maps. Tenkafubu incorporates live-action video and voice acting to enhance the drama of historical events and battles, aiming for a realistic and immersive experience. Screenshots reveal strategic map views, showing armies represented by sprites moving across terrains, and closer battle sequences where forces clash. The developers highlight the move to CD development allowed them to significantly expand the game's scope from its original cartridge plan, adding depth through elements like weather and naval battles, as well as human factors and diplomacy. The page also briefly touches on the technical process of creating the game's visuals and animation, demonstrating the effort to push the new hardware's multimedia capabilities. This page delves into Wolf Team's offerings for the Mega CD, spotlighting the action title Ernest Evans and its relationship with the RPG El Viento. Ernest Evans is highlighted for its unique multi-jointed character sprites, which allow for smoother, more realistic movement compared to traditional animation methods, and also contribute to data efficiency. The article confirms that Ernest Evans and El Viento are part of a connected series, with Ernest Evans serving as the first chapter detailing the meeting of Ernest and Annette and the emergence of the Haster cult. In an interview with Wolf Team's planning and development producer, Mr. Wakabayashi, discusses the game's creation, confirming it was planned for Cradrom from early development. He emphasizes the Cradrom's capacity as a major advantage, enabling features like extensive visual scenes produced by a professional animation studio, totaling 2,030 minutes of animation. While acknowledging the importance of visuals, he stresses that the core gameplay essence remains paramount. The developer discusses the ongoing research into leveraging the hardware for action elements like scaling and zooming. The page includes screenshots showcasing Ernest in action across various environments, and a shot hinting at Annette's role, even showing her driving a car, suggesting cooperative gameplay is a key feature. The developers are excited about the new hardware and are working hard to deliver a great experience. The next page dives into more Mega CD titles, showcasing the burgeoning library for the new hardware. First up is Seirei Seiki Feiria, an RPG that, while appearing traditional, utilizes the Mega 3D's power for dynamic effects like terrain changing, based on story events, and expressive monster animations. The battle system is highlighted for its unique step mechanic, allowing characters to perform multiple actions per turn depending on their level, adding a layer of strategic depth. The page also covers Nihon Telenet's Crydrom efforts, specifically mentioning the popular Cosmic Fantasy series. They are porting the first two games from the PC Engine Crydrom to a single Mega CD release, using the battle system from Cosmic Fantasy II and adding new monsters. Character art is shown, hinting at the game's visual style. Finally, there's Nostalgia, also known as Takeru. This title is described as an adventure game set in the year 1907, featuring distinctive, sepia-toned visuals. The Mega CD version promises expanded cinematic sequences and significant voice acting, aiming for a more immersive experience. Development is progressing well, with plans for a sequel already underway. Screenshots display the game's historical setting and detailed art style. These titles demonstrate the varied genres appearing on the Mega CD, and how developers like Nihon Telenet are leveraging the Crydrom format for richer graphics, sound, and content. This page continues the look at the upcoming Mega CD library, focusing on third-party developers and their initial offerings. Shown here are various titles, either already revealed or under consideration. We see games like the controversial Supergirls Panic from Kaneko, a stripping game that seems unlikely to get approved, alongside more traditional titles like Kugado Studios' Shin Haja no Fuin and Schwarzschild, which build on their RPG and simulation game experience while bringing original stories to the platform. Treco is preparing an original fantasy RPG called Crying Dragon, and a futuristic action game, Vice 2, inspired by Blade Runner. Human is adapting the Arslan Senki series, still figuring out the genre. Victor is bringing a PC Engine CD veteran's expertise to Haushin Engi, and Hot B is developing an AVG based on the Detonator Organ anime. Visco is leveraging the Kiddy's capabilities for their off-road racer World Rally. The page also lists numerous companies like Asmic, Taito, hinting at arcade ports like Night Striker, Toshiba Emi, Messiah, NCS, and others who are planning their Mega CD entries, though many haven't settled on specific titles or genres yet. It highlights that many are exploring how to best use the Crydrom format's potential compared to previous hardware. The overall sentiment is that a diverse range of third parties are lining up to support the Mega CD, promising a growing library beyond Sega's own titles. This page delves into Kyukai Dochuki, a baseball game that might look like a simple character swap from titles like Famista, RBI Baseball, at first glance, but offers a surprisingly different gameplay experience. The reviewer notes that while the Q characters, including the titular Terusuke, are prominent in the artwork and screenshots, the core mechanics aim for greater realism and depth. Key gameplay aspects highlighted are the pitching mechanics, which go beyond simply selecting pitch type and location, requiring the player to also choose where the catcher's mitt is positioned before throwing. This adds a layer of strategy to every pitch. The game features detailed player data, including stats for various pitches like curve, shoot, and fork, and places a strong emphasis on pitcher stamina, which significantly impacts performance, especially after giving up hits. The change-up pitches are described as being exaggerated but effective in disrupting the batter's timing, a core design concept. Screenshots show the on-field view, player stats displays, and a batting interface. The overall sentiment is that the game, despite its initial appearance, is a serious baseball simulation that might even be more engaging than Famista for some players, focusing on strategic pitching and detailed data. This page continues the deep dive into Kyukai Dochuki, shifting focus from pitching to the critical aspects of batting, defense, and base running. Batting success is highlighted as a combination of aligning the bat's sweet spot with the ball's course and executing a well-timed swing. The game introduces a condition parameter for each player, which affects their hitting ability, increasing with successful hits and decreasing with outs. Optimizing based on player condition is a key tactic. The defense section notes that controls are similar to RB baseball visually but feel distinct. It praises the visual flair for successful defensive plays, like catches. A crucial tip for defense is avoiding unnecessary jumps, using the dedicated jump button only when needed, particularly for catching liners or reaching throws. Base running is also covered, explaining the runner display that shows player positions. It advises paying close attention to this display for opportunities to take leads off bases. suggesting this awareness can significantly reduce being caught stealing. Finally, the page celebrates the home run, acknowledging it as a highlight of baseball and mentioning that the probability of hitting a home run varies greatly depending on the stadium, with the SIP stadium noted as having low fences and being easier for hitting bombs. Screenshots illustrate gameplay, player condition, and the home run display. This page provides a comprehensive breakdown of player statistics for various teams within the game's Kai League, detailing their batting, defense, and pitching capabilities. This page covers a 1991 Namco game tournament, pitting various magazine editorial departments against each other. Teams from publications covering systems like Game Boy, PC Engine, Mega Drive, represented by the SoftBank United Army including BeepMD and the Super Famicom magazines, and Famicom competed in 3 different games. The games featured were the Mega Drive baseball title Kyukai Dochuki, the Famicom racing game Family Circuit 91, and the PC Engine horse racing game World Jockey. Each section details the rules for that particular event and includes commentary on the matches, highlighting specific players, and funny anecdotes, like a participant showing up late or another losing confidence after watching the competition. The page also introduces key players from the participating teams and Namco staff involved in running the event, accompanied by photos and game screenshots. It seems like a fun, light-hearted competition focused on editorial pride. The next page continues the Namco game tournament, focusing on the third and final event, the PC Engine title, World Jockey. The rules are simple. Teams of 2 compete at different tracks, with the winners advancing. Highlighted are 2 participants in horse and old man costumes, committing to the bit, despite their lack of skill. The page then moves to the award ceremony, marking the conclusion of the day's competition. Results for each game, including Kyukai Dochuki and Family Circuit 91 from the previous page, along with the overall tournament standings, are presented. There's also a list of various prizes awarded, some quite unique like a large daikon and ginseng. The overall sentiment expressed is one of tiredness but also appreciation for everyone's effort and the fun, especially from those in costume. The page includes screenshots of the World Jockey game and photos of participants, including the memorable costumed players and the award presentation. This page introduces Dinoland, a pinball game on the Sega Mega Drive developed by Wolf Team. Despite having a title that sounds like an RPG, the reviewer quickly clarifies that it's pure pinball and praises how easy it is for anyone to pick up and play casually, without needing deep knowledge or strategy. The game features multiple themed tables, including land, sky, sea, and various boss stages, all centered around a dinosaur theme. The main land table is shown, highlighting its layout and targets. The review provides simple tips, such as using stoppers to protect the ball, and hitting specific dinosaur targets. A key element discussed is the boss stage featuring a large dinosaur. To defeat it, players must hit the targets that spell out Dinoland. Once these lights are lit, the boss opens its mouth, allowing players to shoot the ball inside for significant bonus points. Screenshots illustrate the different tables and the mechanic of opening the boss's mouth. The main character appears to be a small dinosaur named Dinokun. The review suggests Dinoland is a relaxing and enjoyable pinball experience. This page continues the look at Dinoland, delving into the specific features and objectives found on the pinball tables. It starts by detailing the slot machine mechanic, which is a key element for massive bonuses. Matching 3 Dinokun faces awards an incredible 1 million points. Matching 3 red birds grants an extra life, which the reviewer notes is a more achievable and recommended goal. Matching the spiral pattern provides a bonus displayed next to your remaining lives, associated with the boss who kidnapped Dinokun's girlfriend. The review then discusses the targets known as Parubosaurus. These are easy to hit for points, but the key is striking the one wearing a crown, which yields higher points and only requires 1 hit. The crown passes to the next Parubosaurus after it's hit. These targets revive over time, encouraging repeated hits. Another mechanic involves hitting specific dinosaurs to move bumpers, altering the table layout. While this earns points, the review notes it makes hitting the slot machine more difficult. Hitting them again appears to return the bumpers to their original position. Finally, the page explains how to challenge the boss. After hitting a specific kick-out hole 6 times, Dinokun transforms into a ball and heads to the boss area. To defeat the boss, players must strategically utilize both the ball and dinosaur states, relying on a gauge on the left side of the screen to power up the dinosaur form. It's a detailed breakdown of the game's core mechanics beyond simple pinball play. This page shifts gears completely, focusing on a real-life F3 racing event where several prominent Japanese game companies participated. Held in Suzuka, the race featured teams from Telenet, under the name Take One, Capcom Racing Team, and Technos Japan Racing Team. The article highlights the results of the qualifying and main races, noting the performance of the teams. It specifically mentions Tetsuya Motoyama, the driver for the Telenet team, Take One, who is described as a promising young driver in his second year of F3. The name Take One itself is explained as meaning to take first place. The feature also spotlights Sega's Hideki Yano, known for planning games like Super Monaco GP, as another key figure at the event, emphasizing his passion for racing, an influential role in bringing racing simulations to the Mega Drive. Photos scattered across the page show various aspects of the event: F3 cars on the track, the Suzuka circuit itself, the Take One hospitality area, the paddock where cars are adjusted, and even race queens, described as another highlight. The article suggests observing game makers in a real-world racing environment offers a different, interesting perspective. It concludes with a sentiment of appreciation for the effort involved, perhaps referencing the drivers or the participating company teams. This page features the Sega Mega Drive port of Slink's Street Smart, a unique fighting game where the goal is not just victory, but also winning money and a woman in an all-American fighting tournament. The story follows Tsutomu Amano, a Japanese fighter stranded in San Francisco without funds, who enters the tournament to make ends meet, encountering various rivals, including John Schneider. The game blends fighting action with RPG elements. Players earn money and bonus points from matches, which can be used to enhance fighter stats like life, power, and defense. There's also a gamble mode, allowing players to bet their winnings on fights. The key is strategically upgrading your character and managing your money to survive the brutal tournament and claim the grand prize, including the hand of a girl. The page shows screenshots of the character status screen, gameplay, the betting interface, and the victorious ending scene. This page continues the exploration of Street Smart on Mega Drive. The focus here is on mastering the controls and understanding the different fighters you'll face in the tournament. A quick reference guide is provided, detailing the button combinations for Tsutomu Amano and John Schneider, covering their basic strikes, jumps, and special moves. The text emphasizes that while special moves are powerful, they drain your life gauge, adding a strategic layer to their use. Screenshots show the game's chaotic multi-opponent fights, highlighting the action. The page then introduces 3 more powerful opponents you'll encounter. There's 21-year-old Bobby Bra, a normal fighter who uses moves similar to Amano. Next is 38-year-old Sam Santana, who excels at aerial and hip attacks, described as a fast and annoying presence. Finally, the massive 32-year-old Mike Bayer surprisingly utilizes powerful jump moves despite his size. Their stats for life, power, and defense are listed, giving players an idea of their strength. The commentary suggests strategies for facing each fighter, noting Sam's reliance on aerial attacks and the need to avoid close combat with Mike. This page continues the detailed look at Street Smart, focusing on more of the formidable opponents you'll face in the brutal tournament. Profiles for several fighters are presented, each showing their life, power, and defense stats, along with a concise description of their fighting style or notable characteristic. You'll see Brown Santana, aged 39, known for his speed. Larry Powell, a young 19-year-old, is noted for his long reach. The tag team duo, the Bra brothers, Max, 23, and Joan, 23, are highlighted as combination fighters. The Bayer brothers, Mac, 30, and Bear, 31, are masters of the scissor attack. Tommy Page, a veteran at 45, is ominously described as unhuman. Finally, Mr. K, 34 years old, is intriguingly labeled the Data Null Man. Screenshots showcase the diverse environments where these battles take place, from sandy beaches to docks and city streets, capturing the multi-opponent brawls Street Smart is known for. The page concludes with an image celebrating victory, emphasizing the goal of the game: wealth and women. This page delves into the world of Master of Monsters, the third installment in the series. Described as a simulation game that fantasy fans and even those less familiar with simulations can enjoy, this guide offers strategy tips for Scenario 1 and 2, recommends specific monsters for leveling, and covers magic usage and other helpful hints. Released by Toshiba Emi on July 26, It was priced at 7,800 yen. A major focus is on leveling up your monsters, particularly early in the campaign mode, as stronger units carry over to subsequent scenarios. Different monsters level up at different rates. The guide highlights the importance of strategically weakening tougher enemies with spirits before finishing them with your monsters to maximize experience gain. Using powerful magic like Mindstorm to deal heavy damage or heal all for defense is also crucial. Several monsters are recommended for leveling, including the Pegasus line known for speed and attack power, the Manticore which evolves into the Sphinx gaining the powerful Hellfire magic, and units like the Roman and Dragon that level up quickly. Effective use and protection of your master unit and the player's spirit are also key to success. Screenshots show battle scenes, the strategic world map, and comparisons of monsters before and after leveling up. Scenario 2 of Master of Monsters presents challenges requiring strategic tower control and unit deployment. Success within 25 turns is difficult, especially given enemy spirits' immediate attacks. Prioritize capturing towers in the southeast and northwest, using fast units like Pegasus to increase summoning capacity. Utilize storm magic to reposition units, but avoid sending land units over water. Key enemy units include the Hippogriffon, likely Griffon, and Monogia, possibly Cyclops, deployed by the Summoner and Sorcerer. Campaign 2 introduces new monster types, dragons, demons, wraith, soldiers, etc., for a total of 12. Though more monsters can be summoned, the player's base has fewer towers, and the enemy controls many, making it a tough challenge. This page features the Mega Drive port of the Taito arcade game, Thunder Fox. The article discusses its transition from the arcade, noting changes like the lack of a two-player mode and a shift towards a more pure action focus compared to the original shooting elements. Players choose between the titular characters, Thunder and Fox, each with distinct abilities. The enemies are described as relentless terrorists who are difficult to defeat. The combat system is highlighted, including standard knife attacks and various special moves. Key techniques described are the jump kick, the backflip jump, up plus B, which grants temporary invincibility, and the spin attack, down plus B, which also provides invincibility frames and deals damage. Screenshots illustrate these moves and the game's visuals, emphasizing the effectiveness of the special attacks. The page includes the game's release details. July 26th, 8,500 yen, categorized as an action game, and released on an 8 megabit cartridge. This page delves deeper into the gameplay mechanics and the first stage of Thunder Fox on the Mega Drive. It highlights the available weapons, including the machine gun, bazooka, flamethrowers, and hand grenades, explaining their effectiveness. A useful tip is shared. If you're low on ammo, you can swing your equipped weapon for a melee attack. The page then acts as a guide for the first stage, detailing Thunder's progress through the war-torn city. Strategies for dealing with swarming enemies are shown, suggesting jump attacks when a simple knife isn't enough. Fox's strengths in martial arts and knife combat are also noted, hinting at differences between the characters. Finally, the guide addresses the Stage 1 boss, an attack helicopter blocking the path. It reveals a tactical opportunity where another character appears during the fight, and using the bazooka can take out both the helicopter and this character simultaneously. The page offers a glimpse into the challenges and required tactics for the initial part of the game. This page continues the guide for Thunder Fox, moving on to cover stages 2 and 3 of the game. Stage 2 sees you infiltrating a massive sky fortress, with the goal of destroying its engine. The interior is described as having complex passages, unlike simple tunnels, with surprising features referred to as the super trap. A key tip highlights that you are invulnerable to attacks while climbing or descending ladders, so use that to your advantage. Be wary of flying enemies, and in the engine room, you'll need to dodge laser attacks while targeting the core. Once the engine is down, it's time to escape as the fortress falls. The guide then moves to Stage 3, where you pursue an enemy submarine and infiltrate an aircraft carrier. The level starts near water, with enemies hiding behind obstacles. On the carrier deck, you'll encounter different enemy types, including flame-throwing soldiers who are tough head-on but vulnerable if you jump over them and attack from behind. The stage culminates in a boss fight against a character named Gonza, described as a man who attacks with a spear, like B-29. There's a note, wondering if his name is a reference, but finding no clear source. The page also shows character art of one of the heroes, possibly reflecting on the weight of his weapon or the mission itself, with a thought bubble saying heavy. This month's Game Gear news highlights a review of Namco's Wagonland. This game, effectively Wagonland 3, continues the series tradition of gentle combat, where Wagon scares enemies with his voice. The game's objective is to reach Drive Devil's Castle, navigating 22 stages, including Game Gear exclusive levels like a roller coaster. Unique to the series, boss battles are panel games. The story involves Drive Devil's return, prompting Wagon to intervene. The review praises the game's adherence to the classic formula, highlighting the fun boss battles and nostalgic items like the Wagon Copter. Scoring highly in gameplay, durability, and operability, the reviewer predicts the game will be a long-lasting success, perfect for playing with others, and appreciates Wagon's cute character design. The next page features reviews for 2 Game Gear titles. First up is Magical Puzzle Popples, a full-fledged puzzle game from Tengen. This title is packed with content, featuring over 100 standard rounds and a level editor allowing players to create their own stages. The reviewer highlights helpful features like a resume function, which is particularly convenient for portable gaming, where the battery can die unexpectedly, and hints. This is described as a technically demanding puzzle game, perhaps geared more towards advanced players due to its complex, manic design later in the game. But its depth ensures it can be played for a long time. Below that is a review for Taito's Rastan, known in Japan as Rastan Saga. This action game puts you in the role of Rastan, described here as a mercenary rather than a traditional hero, who rescues a princess for treasure. It's a straightforward action game spanning 7 rounds. The reviewer notes that the Game Gear version differs somewhat in look and feel from the arcade original, which might disappoint fans of the arcade version. While some key action mechanics, like wall climbing, are faithfully ported, the character movement is considered less impressive. This page features a review for the Game Gear title Griffin, described as a vertical scrolling shooter. The reviewer notes the strong visual impact, particularly the character Mint, who appears between stages, with the graphics becoming increasingly revealing as the game progresses. While the core gameplay is a standard shooter, the reviewer finds strategic elements like using different weapons based on terrain engaging. The evaluation chart suggests decent operation and fun, with the AV score being highlighted due to the character graphics, although enemy attack patterns are noted as simple. The page also reports on the Tokyo Toy Show held in June, highlighting Sega's presence and the announcement of many new Game Gear titles. Among the notable reveals are a tentative Donald Duck action game, a new arrangement of Frogger, the fantasy RPG Arleal, and a Golden Axe-flavored RPG called Axe = Battler, which is likely Golden Axe Warrior. Other games mentioned include Eternal Legend, Putt and Putter, a minigame collection titled Kunichan no Game Tuju, and a strategy game called Tessen Senryaku G. A photo shows the Sega Game Gear booth at the show. This page features Volume 16 of the Mega Hack League, a recurring section dedicated to tips and tricks for Genesis games. This installment focuses heavily on the Formula One racing title, Fastest One. The page presents several key cheats and techniques for the game. One allows players to gain indestructible tires by entering Happy New Year as their name in World Championship mode. Another trick enables players to spectate a computer-controlled test run simply by holding the B button during the setup phase. For the battle mode, a specific button combination input during the machine check screen, up plus B for player 1, left plus ABC for player 2, disables collision detection with trackside objects like signboards and even rival cars, making racing much smoother. Finally, players can instantly view the endings for the top 5 teams in World Championship mode by entering specific team names: Mac, Mo, Ben, Will, and Ty. Screenshots throughout the page demonstrate these entry points and the effects of the tricks. A small bonus tip mentions a trick for the strategy RPG Langrisser, known as Warsong internationally, where players can destroy walls using magic like Earthquake, and then use units to block the path created. The column encourages readers to try these tricks themselves. This page continues the Mega Hack League, offering up some juicy tips and tricks for Genesis games. First up is Shikinjo, a puzzle game where clearing 100 levels reveals a hidden 101st level after waiting 2 minutes post-ending, showing a completely new background and tile layout along with its password. Next, for Bonanza Brothers, there's a neat trick to avoid getting crushed by the press machines. When a machine is about to hit you, just jump and you'll slip right through. There's also a section for the Mahjong title, Janto Monogatari, highlighting an almost strongest password, Nikko Bebehe. Entering this grants you level 26, Expol 2278, and 9,999 tech points right from the start, letting you dive straight into the action powerfully. Finally, the Eurowaza League showcases the prize winners for submitted tricks. Awards range from Major Leaguer for truly game-changing tricks, First Squad for powerful exploits like invincibility or starting with all items, Second Squad for useful power-ups, Amateur for simpler finds like sound tests, and Grassroots Baseball for funny or minor glitches. The page also briefly covers how to submit your own discoveries via postcard. This novelization of the action RPG King Colossus introduces a young boy returning to an old man with a damaged sword. The boy, having retrieved the sword from a merman, is criticized for its poor condition. Tasked with getting it repaired by a blacksmith, the boy is sent south. The old man hints at a deeper connection with the boy, both bearing a crest. En route, the boy overhears a kidnapping and sacrifice linked to the Gliud cult. Frustrated, the boy feels burdened. The old man, aware of the situation, contemplates whether the boy will intervene to rescue the kidnapped girl. Wary and carrying a talisman, prepares to navigate the Gliud cult's stronghold. Having returned to the old man, the boy learns about the Gliud cult and their shrine. Suspicious of the old man's sudden aid, the boy recalls his past. Raised by the old man and sister, feeling trapped and unsure of himself. Ignoring his doubts, he follows instructions, approaching the cult's stronghold. Guarded by men with serpent-like eyes, the gate surprisingly opens after he presents a talisman. Inside, he finds a ritual in progress, artwork depicting a transformation. The boy, armed with a dagger, is thrust into a terrifying battle after he strikes a priest, transforming him into a monstrous winged creature. He struggles against the powerful, unnatural enemy, a foe unlike any he's encountered before. This page continues the narrative for Enmao King Colossus. The dramatic illustration depicts the boy, armed with a sword and shield, locked in fierce combat with the massive, spiky monster from the previous page's description, likely the transformed priest. The text describes the boy's surge of anger and his desperate struggle against the powerful foe. He manages to land a final blow with his short sword, ending the battle with a final cry from the beast. Worn out, the boy returns home, where the old man greets him curtly. The story then shifts to the aftermath, mentioning the boy's sister and the old man's surprisingly contented reaction despite the boy's ordeal, suggesting a new phase is beginning. So featured is an announcement offering readers a chance to win signed illustrations by Makoto Hagiwara, related to the serialization of this story. There's also a correction notice for an error in a previous article. A photograph of Makoto Hagiwara is shown alongside a sketch of a character, with text praising his drawing style. This page dives into the VG Club, highlighting a quiet boom in video games, specifically focusing on the rise of quiz games in arcades. It notes a shift in the gaming scene, where puzzle games like Tetris and Columns have broadened the player base beyond traditional core gamers, bringing in salarymen, office ladies, and even housewives, especially through crane games and the increasingly popular quiz genre. The article discusses how different developers approach quiz games with varied ideas and difficulty levels, making the simple quiz format engaging. It suggests that checking out the features of new quiz games can help players improve and potentially become quiz game kings. A featured game is Sega's 1991 title, Quiz Shukudai wo Washuramashita, I Forgot My Homework Quiz. This game lets players set their birth year and answers questions from that era, designed to evoke nostalgia. It's described as having warm content, friendly settings, and easy-to-answer questions, even featuring bonus stages with items, perfect for playing with friends or partners. Screenshots show the quiz format and a minigame where players can win prizes. The page also lists several other popular arcade titles of the time, including other quiz games and action titles. This page reviews 3 arcade quiz games: Sonk's Quiz Dai Susan, The Last Countdown, Taito's Yu no Quiz de Go, and Capcom's Quiz, Sengokushi, Chiryaku no Hasha. Pixexis. Quiz Dai Suzazan features a story mode and a challenging Shuguroku mode. Yu no Quiz de Go offers a high difficulty experience for advanced players with numerous questions and a strict time limit. Finally, Quiz Sengokushi. Chiryaku no Hasha combines quizzes with simulation elements, challenging players to unite the land as one of 4 rulers, battling 36 warlords. Each game boasts unique gameplay styles and varying levels of difficulty, appealing to different quiz game enthusiasts. This page shifts focus from quiz games, highlighting other new arcade releases. First up is Smonk's 2020 Super Baseball for the Neo Geo, a futuristic sci-fi baseball game where players in powered suits and robots compete. It features cybernetic elements like ball stop zones where the ball doesn't bounce, and jumping zones for triple jumps, promising exciting gameplay across 2 leagues with 15 games per season. Screenshots show the futuristic stadium and a cybernetic player character. Next is Capcom's Wonder 3, a system offering 3 different games on a single board. This includes the fantasy action game Roosters, the fantasy shooting game Chariot, where you pilot the legendary vehicle, and the cute puzzle action game Donbur, featuring a rabbit and a squirrel. The convenient system lets players easily switch between these distinct genres. Screenshots show the title screens for Donbur and Chariot, hinting at their art styles. Finally, we meet Mr. Tomonori Takeuchi from Data East, a publicity manager known for handling various games from arcades to home consoles. He's a familiar and well-liked figure in the industry. Thanks to him, information about Data East's new video game, Death Braid, is featured, with screenshots showing intense fighting action. This page continues the Hyper Sega Hard-Boiled Mystery series, focusing on the adventure surrounding a specific Radmobile arcade machine designated SV. The synopsis reminds us that a unique Radmobile machine with SV in its serial number appeared at 4:04 p.m. on April 4, 1992, featuring 21 stages. A private detective, the narrator, along with his assistant A. Kane, is traveling to arcades across the country searching for this machine, though the story is noted as fictional, with elements related to real people and groups. The current installment centers on the Starbase Kawabe arcade. The narrator receives a tip that the elusive Radmobile SV machine might be located there. The narrative is interspersed with quirky details, like the detective finding a fish sausage from 1990 while looking for food, which adds a bit of humor to the hard-boiled theme. Despite the journey required to get there, the detective instinctively agrees to investigate the lead. Photos on the page show the Starbase arcade's exterior lit by neon at night, and scenes from inside the arcade featuring various machines, hinting at the atmosphere of the location being explored. This page continues the Hyper Sega Mystery series, shifting perspective to the detective's 18-year-old assistant, Akane Mizuno. She gives her impressions of the Starbase arcade, describing its space theme with a counter resembling a bar and futuristic ceiling decorations. She notes the atmosphere feels somewhat like a bar due to the prominent rock background music. The page also includes a response to a reader's question about finding the original Afterburner arcade game. The expert reply explains that most cabinets were converted to Afterburner 2 via system board upgrades and advises embracing Afterburner 2 as it's also a masterpiece. Finally, the arcade manager is mentioned, revealing plans to install the Sega SAR 360 motion simulator cabinet soon, adding another iconic Sega game to the location. This page continues the Hyper Sega narrative, with Aki reflecting on her visit to the Starbase arcade mentioned on the previous page. She reiterates details about the arcade manager's attention to layout, and mentions the planned installation of the R360 cabinet. Akane then focuses on this specific magazine column, noting it's a color page, and expressing a desire for interesting postcards from readers for a Game Gear giveaway. The page also includes a reader's letter discussing how lighting affects their gaming experience and watching TV. A brief Q&A section features a question about the arcade racer Radmobile. An anecdote is shared about successfully winning items from a UFO catcher arcade machine, featuring the characters Maru-chan and Maru-kun. In a separate note, possibly from the detective, there's mention of investigating Radmobile SV and an offer to investigate reader requests about specific games for free. The checkpoint section serves as a reader submission corner, welcoming information, requests, and questions, with prizes like a Sega pen and a Game Gear offered for selected entries. The page includes images of a character illustration, a UFO catcher cabinet, a screenshot from Radmobile, and 2 Sega Game Gear handheld consoles. This page announces a stage design contest for the puzzle game Pyramid Magic. Readers are invited to create their own levels using a construction tool provided by Sega. The rules emphasize creating purely puzzle-based stages that don't require difficult action techniques. Specific limitations are placed on entrances, exits, item usage, and placements, with examples provided of forbidden stage designs, such as tricky jumps or using vines for upward movement. The page provides an application form template for drawing the stage design and requires a separate drawing detailing the solution route. Submissions are open for 2 months, and prizes for the best levels include a Game Gear console with software, Ghidorah software, and various Sonic the Hedgehog goods like phone cards and plush toys. The review for Pyramid Magic 2 is mentioned as being featured on the following page. The next page unveils a fantastic reader gift campaign, offering fans a chance to win some hot titles and other cool items. The main draw is a selection of Sega Mega Drive and Game Gear games, featuring major hits like Sonic the Hedgehog and the legendary beat-em-up Streets of Rage, known as Bare Knuckle in Japan. Classic arcade shooters Raiden and Vapor Trail are also among the prizes for the Mega Drive. The Game Gear lineup includes the vibrant shooter Griffin and the colorful Fantasy Zone gear, along with some more unique titles such as a baseball game starring Tamagotchi from Shadowland and the distinct Gambar Gorby. Beyond games, readers could also win a Mega Drive music compilation CD and copies of the American Genesis magazine, Megaplay. Entry involves sending in a survey postcard, and there's even a special first-come, first-served prize of tickets to a racing event, making this a generous opportunity for readers. This page outlines key information about the magazine, showcasing its staff and a vibrant illustration. It offers a question telephone service for reader inquiries and solicits new contributors, especially in Tokyo. An anniversary article celebrates the magazine's growth, noting its 3rd anniversary, expansion in staff and content, including collaborations, and a new weekly TV show, BeepMD World. The magazine faced initial challenges securing interviews, but has thrived due to reader support. Finally, the page includes a reader survey postcard, seeking feedback on demographics, magazine preferences, and desired game purchases and ports for the Mega Drive. A small graphic and copyright information complete the page. This page prominently features the game Raiden, declaring that its popularity knows no bounds. It presents data from a popularity poll conducted by CoinJournal, showing the monthly scores for Raiden, Columns, and Final Fight from August 1990 to March 1991 in both a table and a line graph. Raiden's performance is highlighted as strong and generally increasing over this period compared to the other titles. The page also announces a contest recruiting game monitors, particularly those who enjoy shooting games and the Mega Drive. 10 winners will receive a Sega Terra Drive. To enter, players must clear a special stage in the Mega Drive port, Raiden Densetsu, retrieve a message, and write it on the included survey postcard, to be mailed by September 30th. The Sega Terra Drive is showcased as a new PC, capable of quickly running IBM PC games, offering a unique prize opportunity. This page is the front cover, prominently featuring the highly anticipated Mega Drive release of Raiden, known as Raiden Trad, outside of Japan. The striking artwork depicts the iconic red and white fighter jet soaring above a landscape, accompanied by screenshots showcasing the intense, vertical scrolling gameplay. The cover proudly proclaims that the game, titled Raiden Densetsu, in Japan, is finally appearing on the Mega Drive, featuring all 8 stages plus a thrilling special stage. A bold statement declares that this home console version has even surpassed the arcade original, a significant claim given Raiden's immense popularity at the time. The page also highlights that the game utilizes an 8 megabit memory cartridge, a large size for the platform, suggesting a faithful conversion. Release details are provided, showing a July 6th release date, with a list price of 8,800 yen. Copyright information indicates licensing from Seibu Kaihatsu, the original arcade developer, and Micronet as the likely publisher or developer for this port. This page features the striking artwork for the Mega Drive pinball game, Pinball no Sore, known internationally as Devil's Crush or Dragon's Fury. The illustration depicts a stylized skull merged with futuristic elements, featuring a woman's face at the center, hinting at the game's dark fantasy and sci-fi themes. The Mega Drive logo is present at the top left. 3 bullet points highlight the game's features. The first proclaims an amazing new world of visuals and a shocking pinball game debut on Mega Drive. The second emphasizes evolved exciting graphics and BGM. The third promises numerous gorgeous original stages and sounds full of sensibility. This suggests the game aims to push the boundaries of the pinball genre on the platform with its presentation and design. Copyright information at the bottom shows 1991 Technosoft and 1990 Naxatsoft/Red, indicating Technosoft handled the development or publishing for this release, building upon the original game concept by Naxatsoft and Red. This page features a full-page advertisement for the highly anticipated Mega Drive pinball game, known internationally as Devil's Crush or Dragon's Fury. The prominent title graphic dominates the upper portion, stylized with an eye and mechanical details, reflecting the game's dark fantasy theme. Below the title, 3 distinct screenshots give a glimpse into the game's macabre pinball tables, showcasing detailed layouts filled with skulls, monsters, and eerie backdrops. The page announces the game's release date as October 10th, with a price of 6,800 yen, tax excluded, accompanied by the phrase, "approaching," indicating its imminent launch. Section at the bottom features a group under the banner Gals Club, and a small note corrects an error from a previous advertisement regarding the date of the Tokyo Toy Show. This final preview effectively builds excitement for the game's unique pinball experience. The next page presents a vibrant advertisement for the Game Gear title, Eternal Legend. This role-playing game is visually represented by a striking illustration featuring the main characters, set against a dramatic fantasy backdrop. Below the main artwork, small screenshots demonstrate the game's classic RPG mechanics, showcasing a top-down exploration view and a battle screen interface. Released on August 9, 1991, for 4,500 yen, the game notably included battery backup functionality for saving progress on the go. The page also serves to promote the Game Gear console itself, highlighting its key feature with the catchphrase, "Color Game, Color TV," and listing prices for the hardware, 19,800 yen, and the separate TV tuner pack, 12,800 yen. This effectively positions Eternal Legend as a premier title for Sega's Color Portable system.